Welcome to Explosive Strength Podcast with Jerry Pitney. In this episode, I have Dylan Spelios with me. Dylan has trained with me since the 7th grade. He's going to go this fall to play football for Navy. He is 6'4", 235. He's ran a 4.8 complete laser 40 at the gym. He's also jumped to 41.3 vertical, I do believe. We're just going to talk about what he's learned at the gym, how it's changed his career path, and we're just going to talk about experiences. And then we're going to talk about other people. We're going to talk about vertical jump training. We're going to talk about the specific strength training that we try to do. And so here we go with another episode of the Explosive Strength Podcast. Welcome, Dylan.
I'm excited to be here.
How did you find out about the gym?
So I think about 7th grade, a group of guys going to Whitewater. I was like, what are you guys doing after school? And they told me a little bit about the gym. And I wasn't always a strong kid. I was kind of on the lighter side of things. And they were like, just come try it out. And I was hesitant at first because I didn't know a lot about it. And I wasn't able to find a lot at first on it. And I just said, you know what, I'll try it one day. And after the one workout, I was like, this is the place I need to be. I saw the turf in there, the vertical jumps they did, the 40s they're doing in there. And I think that day was squat day. And I'd never squatted like that with tendos and on the box. It's always just been regular squat with, back to back going. And that's when, I knew I was like, this is the gym for me.
Who were some of the first people? Was it Grayson in there?
It was Grayson, Garrett, Bryce. Bryce was the biggest one that took me to the gym. And after that, it's like, let's roll.
Yeah, because it's been so long. Did I get that right? Was it 7th grade?
I believe it was 7th grade.
Yeah, and that, geez, 6 years ago. It's kind of hard for me to remember how it kind of goes, and it kind of goes by real quick.
It does.
I posted a picture of you on Instagram maybe a couple of years ago, the dramatic transformation that you've experienced at the gym. Because you were a small, skinny little kid, and now you're pretty big and pretty heavy.
Right.
This past year, you started coming to, you did wrestling this year. You've always done wrestling, judo, and what other stuff have you done? Football, wrestling, judo?
Football, wrestling, year round, and then with the gym along in there. So
with this past year, you went state runner up in wrestling?
13-1, lost to the guy that won, got 3rd place at state in the 220 weight class.
Then you had a nagging injury that was happening the whole time since football, right?
Right. So first week, I think going into football season, first week we had pads on. I wasn't able to squat that day at school, so I decided I was going to do 10 sets of 10 RDLs in like 10 minutes because it was the only thing I could do, and I hadn't worked out for a week and a half. And I was like, season's right around the corner. I got to do something. So I did it kind of on my own, and I knew right after that it wasn't the right decision. I was real sore like I'd never been. And then right after that, we had full effort 40s. And I think 2 40s in, I just felt it. Had a bilateral hamstring pull. And I didn't really get over it until towards the end of the season. And it was just nagging every week, running and re-hurting it, re-injuring it. And then wrestling, I didn't have time to fix it the way I wanted to. And then I went to PT after wrestling, and that didn't really help it. Because it was a hamstring at the hip issue, not a hamstring at the knee issue. And that's what you told me when I came back to Explosive. You said, well, they're giving you all these exercises for hamstring at the knee rather than hamstring at the hip. You need to start doing these things. And within 2 weeks, it was fixed, and I started running again. And that's when I ran faster than I ever have. And just doing the hamstring at the hip stuff helped with the 40s, it helped with everything.
So don't go fatigue your hamstrings, then sprint on fatigued hamstrings.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Especially 10 sets of 10 or whatever you said. That's freaking nuts. I think when I saw you at the gym, as far as I think that's when you become since 7th grade, and you just really, this past year, out of the 6 years you've been coming, you really understood that the gym's more than just a gym. Like,
right.
I saw you over there doing, you were doing some exercises for your hamstring, and I walk over, I said, Dylan, what the hell are you doing? I'm doing my therapy exercises, and
I think I was doing it with no weight too.
Yeah, no weight, and then that's when I started talking to you about muscle tension.
Right.
To create strength, you got to create tension.
You got to be a certain load on the muscle.
Yeah, if it's too heavy, it's bad. But if it's too light, it's not going to make the muscle squeeze enough or create enough tension on the muscle for it to create an process to heal.
Right, which is why for multiple weeks I was doing the no weight stuff, and I was doing my exercises religiously and just not getting any better.
And I think once you start, then after you got healed, and I started explaining to you with a hamstring at the knee and the hamstring at the hip, and how you got 3 hamstrings, and your biceps femoris is the one that crosses the knee and the hip. You got your semimembranosus and semitendinosus, all those different you got 3 major hamstring muscles in the back of your leg. And when I saw you doing that, and I said, where was your hamstring at? And you said upper. So the stuff you were doing was knee flexion.
Right.
And see, and it was done with no load. So you were just lifting your shoe.
Right.
And so for some people, that could be good if their foot's heavy. So if you don't have enough load at the end of the lever arm, you're not going to create any tension. And if you're not creating any tension, you're not going to create any type of muscular response in order to get better. I mean, it's just kind of like benching the bar. You can't bench the bar 100 times and go from 135 to 225.
It's not gonna happen.
You have to add some type of load in order to progress, in order to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And so at your level, you can't do that because you're too damn strong. So like that's the thing. Like when I repaired my tricep, the stuff I was doing, I went about 3 weeks, and I was so far ahead of schedule that the therapist said, I can't. With that, you have to follow protocol with them. So it's not necessarily always their fault.
Exactly.
Because liability insurance and whatever else, that they have protocols and stuff they have to follow.
You can only progress so fast.
Yeah, because there's people out there looking to be sue happy. So if they don't follow protocol, then the sue happy person's looking for something. Hey, look, they didn't do this, then I can sue them. Although that the therapist was trying to help them, they gotta watch their back, because there's evil people out there.
For sure.
And so after 3 weeks of me going, I said, shit, I'll just fix it on my own. And so I never went back to physical therapy on that either, on my elbow. But and it's been back. I've actually tore my right tricep off, and it's been healed. And when I talked to the doctor about my specific tricep, I was worried about, because my bench press is pretty strong, I was so worried about, like, if my arm, I wanted to see how long it was going to take that tendon to calcify back to the bone. And so, because just sitting there, my arm in a bent flex position, I couldn't straighten it. They didn't want me to do anything. They had me in a brace. Donna tried to talk them into putting me into a cast, because she was afraid that I'll take the brace off, because I don't like to look like a weenie or wear braces or anything like that. But they sent me home with a brace, and I was worried because not moving my arm, my tricep was starting to cramp. And I wanted to see how long it was going to take, because I told that doctor, I said, I can still go a year without bench, and I can still bench 390 without benching in a year.
Which is crazy.
And so, and he looked at me, and I spent some time with him, and I was just joking around. I said, can you attach my tendon about 2 or 3 millimeters lower, so I can have a greater mechanical advantage, so when I come back to bench, I can actually bench more than what I did. And I was just talking about tendon reattachments and increasing mechanical advantage for that, just trying to mess around with him. And he said, you scare me. But I said, I said, that tricep's got a lot of pulling power. I said, so when it's twitching or trying to cramp or whatever it's trying to do, in order to fire, in order for it not to atrophy like it's going to do, I said, I need to know how long it's going to take that tendon to calcify for the bone before I can actually put some pressure to it. I said, because I want to be back where I was, but I actually want to be better than what I was.
Right.
And so he started talking to me, and after surgery, he told me, most people, when they go get something reattached, they put 1 anchor point in. And so he was just going to take 1 anchor and attach my tendon back so that he would have done his job. He said for me, he actually put 4 anchor points and cross-stitched them. It was going to take 12 weeks for the tendon to calcify to the bone. He said, then I should be okay. And so I've actually inflamed my left elbow, and I've never had anything done with my right elbow ever since. And so, but if I wouldn't have talked to him and tried to help him understand muscle tension or muscle strength, what's going to happen to it when it pulls, he may have just put 1 anchor point in.
Right.
Because I think the athletes, like you, me, and the strength athletes, I wish there was a different surgical protocol Because when doctors go, I don't even know if they even have to take exercise science classes. And even exercise science classes, I didn't learn what I know now. I learned most of my knowledge. Louis Simmons directed me on which books and stuff to read in order for me to gain more knowledge. And I've gone around the country. I've gone to universities as we travel. And I go into bookstores to try to look at what exercise science classes are teaching. And you don't see in any of those books different levels of muscular tension, and that's frustrating.
Right.
Because if it was not for Louis, I wouldn't have known the different levels of muscle tension or how to create specific types of strength. Because usually in school, y'all just hear one type of strength, and just go in there, kind of get stronger, just get stronger. You start squatting, and what you'll learn, it's getting stronger takes a bad rap because you have to get stronger in order to run faster. But what people don't understand, it's the methods that manipulate the nervous system, not the exercise. So like when we box squat at the gym, it's a static dynamic method. And so if you just do regular squat, it's just, you're developing general specific strength. By going down to the box, stopping like we do, we're breaking up the eccentric and concentric chain, which means as you lower the weight, you have muscle tension all the way down, and then you have the up direction, which is the concentric action. So you got eccentric going down, the concentric coming up. By going down and coming back up without the box, there's no turning off and on of the chain. So which means, so when I sit down on the box, we have that slight pause, react,
right?
Almost, we're letting the energy kind of dissipate,
and
then we accelerate up. So that breaks the lowering and raising phase. So by breaking up the lowering and raising phase, we're actually demanding more out of our nervous system to pull on the fibers to make the fibers contract harder and faster. So basically the box squat is a static dynamic method, which is primarily how we use, or what we use in order for it to make us run faster.
What about pause squat? It's not.
You can pause squat, but I was able to increase my vertical to a 37-inch vertical at 235 pounds, pause squatting. But if you watched kids at school, if you watch kids at the gym, if you watch them do that, what you'll see, most kids, if they're afraid of missing a rep, they're not going to pause it.
Right.
You know, and what you'll see, like you probably experienced this in high school, kids don't squat low all the time. Well, I think at your high school, at least the coach makes them go all the way down for the most part, you know.
It doesn't count if it's not below parallel.
Yeah. That's the great thing about the school that you went to is if I have a kid that comes to me from there, I at least know they're going to squat right.
Right, where some of these other schools, they come in and kids are like, I can squat 515, but they're just taking it off. And
yeah, I had a kid that said he squatted 445 or something like that and bring him to the gym. He only moved 225 at a 0.38.
Which there's no way he can squat that if you
Yeah, it depends on the depth. So what I was
Right.
trying to get at is that when they're squatting at other schools and things like that, each rep they get higher, and they get higher. So if I try to pause squat them, if they think they're going to miss a rep, they're not going to go there and pause.
Exactly. The box makes them.
Makes them, and the height's always the same.
Right.
And so, like when we're talking about the 40-yard dashes, by box squatting, we're breaking up the eccentric chain, causing greater demand on our nervous system. So with the static dynamic method, which is the box squat, that's the reason we got it, because we use the box as a tool and not a guide.
Right.
We use it to break up something. We use it to actually physically sit, break up the momentum, and explode back up.
Now, if you have a 6'1" guy and a 6'5" guy, are you going to squat them on the same box, the same height, or are you going to add a pad? Is there a absolute?
I like for people that are 6'2", maybe 6'3" or higher, to have an extra pad. Do you have that extra pad? Right?
Yeah, I use the extra pad.
And you've been able to get faster.
Right.
But like I've had Ben Baggett, he's been on the podcast before. When he was in high school, we got him to run a 40-40. That's just a normal 12-inch box with a blue pad on it.
Right.
We test 40s, for those of you who've never listened before, we test 40s at the gym every freaking month. That way we know, I think you were getting 0.04 faster, right? So we test the 40s every month. That way I know specifically what is or what is not working. I had someone come to me the other day. They said their daughter got faster, but there was never a starting a first, second, or third, or fourth month testing protocol. You know, you can change someone's technique and make them look like they're faster.
Or even feel faster, because a lot of kids, that's what I hear.
Yeah,
In my grade, they're just like, I've been doing these drills and I just feel a whole lot faster.
Yeah, we got this one kid that plays D1 college football. He told me he feels a lot faster. Well, he was running a 4.8, then he comes back and runs a 5 flat. And so just because you feel something does not mean what you feel is always right. That's why at the gym we're always monitoring, figuring out and testing these numbers so that we know, hey, yeah, this is working. And so what I was getting at with Ben, to where I'm getting at something we know is working, I didn't add a pad, I just took that box and increased it by 1 hole. So instead of squatting down to a solid surface of 12 inches with a 6-inch blue foam pad, we're squatting down to a 13-inch box. 4.8. Next month he ran a 4.9.
Off of a 1-inch increase.
Yes. That's why if you hear me talk to some of these athletes at the gym, I'm scared to tell them, like the kid that you wrestled with this past season,
right? He
uses the pad, but he's about, what, 6'2"?
6'2", 6'1".
Yeah. But he's actually been able to get faster with it.
With the added pad.
You know, he was a kid, he's gone from running a 5.5 40 to a 5.1 40. How much do you think he weighs?
250.
Yeah, and so last year he was trained by a family friend or something like that. His mom came to gym. Everybody's super skeptical when they come to gym because whatever I'm telling you folks is that I get people faster. I make people jump higher. So we're running faster, we're jumping higher, and we are some of the strongest athletes out there. But you may go somewhere else and they may be saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. The only difference is they don't have concrete numbers or tracked results to prove to you that that's actually what they're doing.
Right. If you grab any one of your random folders.
Yeah, there's a place down the street from me that does not believe in lifting weights to get faster. And I told someone the other day, I said, why are steroids banned? What steroids do, Dylan? Make you stronger.
Make you stronger.
So they're not allowed in track and field in the Olympics because strength and speed.
Right.
And so Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, those guys back in the day were hitting home runs left and right. But I told someone the other day, I said, you still have to have a skill set. I'm not going to go out there and be able to crank bombs with a baseball bat. Shit, I probably can't even swing a baseball bat. You know, but if I hone in my golf swing, then you were to get on something that makes you stronger, you hit the ball further.
Right.
Bryson DeChambeau, the professional golfer this past year, should have proved. He went out, got stronger, got bigger. Now he's
killing the golf ball.
He's killing the golf ball. He was ridiculed for his size because it's going to mess you up. If you still continue to practice your skill and you get stronger, your skill gets sharper. And sometimes you can get so strong, it can make up for bad technique. You know, like if you were to wrestle somebody that had not perfect technique, but their strength could override some of that stuff.
Right.
You know, but then you got some wrestlers out there that are not very strong, but they're very, very technically sound. But if they screw up a little bit on their technique, someone else can wrap them up pretty quick.
Exactly.
So that's why people don't wrestle bears.
It's true.
So they're damn strong. But circle back to Ben, is he ran from running a 4.8 off a 1-inch increase. He went from 12 inches to 13 inches on the box.
In 1 month, he ran a 4.8 to a 4.9.
Yeah, so let's start. I don't know. I don't have this folder, so I can't really. So January, just do it something simple. People can follow. January, 4.8. February, we increased the box height, 4.9. All right, maybe a fluke. March, keep the box, 5 flat.
You kept the box at the increase.
Yeah, I still kept it 13 inches. I did it for 2 months.
Right.
Well, his starting was a 4.8. The next month was 4.9. The next month was 5 flat. He said, screw this. We went back down. Next month was a 4.8.
In 1 month.
Yeah. So.
How tall is he?
Ben, I think, is about 5'10". Maybe
5'10".
Maybe 5'11", I think.
Right.
I think he's about my height. I'm 5'10". So I saw that. And another thing about the box squat, even little Emily that helps me out at the gym, she's not very tall. And this is what I've not figured out. Like, I do have some of her folders. Listen to this. I actually do have her folder. Because I brought this book home so we can talk about this speed crap. All right, check this out, Dylan. She's short, but because like little Johnny, the weird thing is the short kids, it'd be like them have a higher box, but they still get faster.
Right. So it's not an increased box, it's just increased because they're shorter.
Yeah, and what I can't figure out, and I had someone stop by, people can't talk to me because people don't test 40s like that. There's no one in this world that tests 40s on a monthly basis and as many 40s as I've had tested over the last 12, 13 years.
Some of them do stopwatch or don't even test every month.
Yeah, complete laser.
Right.
And so, I was telling there's a couple places around me from the gym that say they do sports performance training, but they don't test their athletes. We had a kid was coming, they don't believe in lifting weights to get faster. Well, they got, hey, we've had these kids do this, we're going 4 9s. How do you know? We can tell by what their work they're doing. That's nuts to me because I'm over here showing people, they're telling people, but they're not showing people. I'm trying to show people, but I still don't understand why people don't get it. Let's get with Emily with this box before I get off on a rant. All right, she ran a 7.8. This is slower than a damn dead turtle.
That's bad. 7.8.
A 7.8 with a 13.3 inch vertical. I didn't realize it was that bad, but that's okay.
It's all right.
A 7.8. Because a lot of people, when they first come to the gym, they see us lifting weights. They're comparing me to point A, point B, high school A, high school B, and stuff like that. So they're seeing the same thing, but they don't realize that I'm actually using methods behind the exercises. The methods behind the exercise is what yields the result, if it's tested. If not, you just think. Like you said, you got friends that think they're faster. They don't know, just like that college kid. He feels faster, but you test me, he's actually slower. So I'd rather feel like ass and be fast instead of feel good and be slow.
Right, so when you say that, like when kids come in, they're not used to taking 3.5 minutes in between their squat reps. And you explained it to me one day well on why you do that.
Yeah, we actually rest 5 minutes between it. We have to have complete recovery of the nervous system. Like in track, if you're doing a 100-meter sprint or if you're doing a 200-meter sprint, you should be resting 5 to 8 minutes between each sprint.
So you get maximum effort.
Yeah, so you get maximum effort. Because if you don't rest long enough, and you should know this by now, if you're not resting long enough between your squats and you're monitoring your squat speeds are not going to be that good.
Right.
So once I think that people see by using the Tendo unit, they see a concrete number. Oh, I didn't rest long. Oh, dang, no wonder I couldn't get a 6 at this set. Rest longer, then all of a sudden you're popping faster numbers.
And that's why the Tendo's a game changer because it keeps you honest.
Yeah, you can't lie. You can't lie about how fast you're standing up. I don't care what you feel like. I care about what your numbers are.
Right.
And
it's not about just getting a rep.
I don't care about feelings. I want numbers. I want results. So when people come to the gym, I want numbers. What can you do for my kid? What can your kid do for me is basically what they need. I should be saying.
Right.
I did have one kid that came to the gym from Carrollton. He was coming 4 days a week from Carrollton, which is good hour, 15 minutes away. His dad said, "What can you do for my son?" I said, "What can your son do for me?" And he just kind of was in shock that I actually said that back to him. I should start firing people from the gym if they're paying me, right?
Right.
But how I really want them to pay me is through their numbers. If they're not getting numbers and I'm just pacifying them, what good's having the gym? Exactly. I want my numbers more than I want the money, because I know if I continue to get numbers, I'm proving a lot of people wrong that this, that, or whatever. Let's get back to Emily. 7.8. The next month, 7.7. The next month, 7.3, huge drop off. Then a 7.2. Then a 6.88. So we went from a 7.8 to a 6.8840 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months. All those numbers were she box squatted the entire time they came. She come. So 7.8 box squats, took her to a 7.7, kept box squatting, took her to 7.3, kept box squatting, 7.2, kept box squatting, 6.88. I didn't have her vertical recorded her. First vertical is 13.3, 14.4, 16.1, 16.3, not recorded there. So I don't know why I stopped there, but we went from a 4.1 broad jump to a 5.3 broad jump. Explosive power increased. We box squatted, which manipulated her nervous system. The nerves, if I cut your spine, your muscles do nothing because they have to have nerve innervation in order to fire and contract. So by manipulating the nervous system using the box squat, I was making more of the neurons adhere to the tissue to make that tissue contract harder and faster. So think about this. If you got a hand, you got all 5 of your fingers, take your arm, you can put it on the table. So if you have just your thumb and your pinky touching and you try to squeeze, you can only squeeze so much.
Right.
And so the hand is representing the motor units, which is actually attaching to the muscle tissue itself. So by using something that manipulates the nervous system, we can make more of those motor units adhere to that tissue. And so the more neurons you got pulling on that one fiber, the harder and faster the fiber will contract. So that's the whole point about manipulating the nervous system. All right, so I had proven to Emily or Emily's father that she's getting faster. So once people believe me, I start switching stuff up. Because I have to then go back and build a base. I have to build a regular squat because that is the base. Because you still have to learn how to regular squat. The regular squat, I say, builds structure. And the bigger our structure is, the higher our peak can be. And so right now, while I was milking that box squat and getting as much out of it and getting the results that I did. And so then I moved her to regular squat so I could build structure. She needs to be able to learn how to absorb the force on the way down and come back up. Like with the box squatting, you don't sometimes know how to absorb the force because you're using that box to break it up. So she has to have some type of change in direction. I took her away from the box and we started regular squatting. That 6.88 went to a 7 flat. And guess what? You see it here, the next month went to a 7.1. I took the box away from a short person and they got slower just by regular squatting.
Just by regular squatting.
All right. Then look what I added back. Can you see it?
Back to the
box
squat.
I went back to the box squat, showing 6.9. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so here's this guy, went from a 5.1, 5 flat, 4.9, 4.8, made big gains in the whole time he was coming. We don't, how much running do we do at the gym?
Besides testing?
Yeah, besides testing.
Tread sled?
That's not very often, is it?
Yeah, no. We don't run for conditioning purposes. We
mainly lift, jump. Mainly lift and jump.
Right.
If I had this girl one time, she came and her dad thought she was coming for speed and agility training. And he saw her squat. And I said, that's speed and agility right there. And he was pissed because he thought she should be running circles and running drills.
On a ladder.
Yeah, things like that. Because a lot of people think, hey, I need to do these drills. A drill only enhances your physical or current physical ability. So it's just kind of like a car. If I only have the ability to produce 200 horsepower, my car is not going to go very fast. Now, if I can take my horsepower in the same car and you get 400 horsepower, cars will move a lot faster. You've gotten heavier, you jumped higher, and you ran faster.
Not by running ladder drills.
No, not by doing any drills. So a lot of times people want to come to the gym and they want to see people doing stuff like, they want to see cone drills. Well, because I had a parent the other day, his daughter runs track, and do you believe in fast twitch, slow twitch? Throwing knowledge, throwing stuff out. Yeah, yes, but it's not. You can use exercises to manipulate the fast twitch fibers, or you can use exercises to manipulate the slow twitch fibers. But more important than the fibers is the nervous system. And so everybody wants to reiterate or say something that they heard. Hey, what about isometric training? Well, if the muscle has to contract, because we are innervated with different stretch reflex receptor sites. One detects magnitude only, and another site detects speed and magnitude. So if I'm just doing something isometrically, I'm only getting magnitude. I'm not getting the coupling of speed and magnitude. So that's kind of like, they hear, you hear people, they said they get great results of this, they get great results of that. You know what my experience is? I don't see those freaking people testing. Just like what you said, they feel better, they feel good. Anyway, this quit, I don't know if you know him or not. See that? Do you know him? I think I didn't even go to different school. Jared, he's got to get faster. He's got to get faster. November, January, February, March, April. See that in order? He's got to get faster. He's got to get faster. What are their parents looking for me to do? Stupid drills.
Right.
And they see them lifting weights, but they also see them lifting weights at school. I had a kid that went from running a 5'6", a 5'4", a 5'3", did not come to the gym for 7 months, went to school to work out, 7 months of school working out, weight training, came back, still ran a 5'3". But then he started coming back more consistently. Now he's a 4'9". But football's about to start, so he's not going to be there. So I tell people that he's not the only one. This kid, this past year, I had him run a 4.840. I told him not to go to track. I hate it when the athletes have to go to track because I think the coaches want to keep them conditioned. He was running a 4.8 before football season as a high school freshman. First freshman, I believe I have had to run a 4.8 on the complete
4.8 laser.
Yeah. He started off at a 5.640. He got down to a 4.8. Goes to track season. The thing about track season is the coaches overrun the kids. Too much, and they're not giving them that 5 to 8 minute rest break like I took. Like some of these books back here that have speed training and track training, you have to let the nervous system completely recover, or you're going to fatigue it. Once you fatigue it, then the anaerobic system sets in, which is more muscular endurance. So once the more muscular endurance system sets in, it overrides speed and power. That's the thing about doing too much
Which
endurance.
makes you slower.
Yeah. And he said, "What do you think I'll run?" I said, "A 5.1." No way. There's no way I can run 5.
This is just after track season.
This was as he was going into track season. Okay. So he ran a 4.8. As track got deeper, 4.9. This just kind of like that girl I showed you. He was going backwards. He ended up running a 5.1 something 40-yard dash. And so after track, he ran a 5.1, I think, 2 months in a row. March, April, track starts ending in toward May. Then once that, it went from a 5.1 to a 4.9. But now summer workouts are starting for football. Now he's got to go condition, got to go do football workouts, then try to come to the gym, try to get his speed back.
Right.
And then he feels like his whole off season was wasted because he didn't get to the 4.7 or the 4.6 because he didn't have the time.
Just getting back to his speed that he left.
Yeah. So now we're sitting a year later, almost running the exact same thing, which is very frustrating.
It is.
And he's frustrated too.
Because he comes to the, even after track and stuff, he tries to come to the gym and it's not there. Your body can only do so much.
I just tried to work his lower back, hamstrings, and try to take care of the vulnerable parts through track season. He'd come in, Jared, my legs are dead. I can't do anything. Squat speed numbers are bad, so I said we'll just take a different route, and now we're struggling to get back to where he was at, so that we can go through football, come out of football, and hopefully we don't wait, because a college coach don't care if you ran track. They don't care if you're fast. If you can, and so
I think a lot of times, if a kid does run track, you're not going to run track if you're slow. So they know
he's fast.
Exactly. So they do like to see that an athlete ran track, especially if he's a receiver, a safety, or a corner, because then they know and they can see his numbers verified there. Just because they know a slow person is not going to, But I don't think track necessarily makes you fast.
Yeah, and I think just like the people around that say we don't believe in lifting weights to get faster. They say you run more to get faster. If that was the case, hell, I would have been a 4.40.
Exactly.
I used to run my ass off all the time. I was that kid that worked my ass off all the time when I was in high school because I wanted to be better. I would do whatever it took. And I thought, just like everybody else, people your age, yep, I just got to keep running. I'm going to run every day until it's like driving your car every damn day. The only way you can make your car faster is increase its horsepower.
Right.
And I started reading some of this when I went to, when I was at school. The athletes that squat 2.1 times their body weight are significantly faster than those that do not. So if you take a group of 10 people here that are 2.1 times their body weight, you take a group over here that are 1.9 times their body weight, this 2.1 group beats this 1.9. And the squatting 1.9 times your body weight is still a very good squatter.
Exactly.
But that shows the significance and the improvement of it. And so years ago, I had a kid. We went from running 5.140 to 4.840 in 2 months.
2 months.
8-9 weeks.
Okay.
His front squat max was 255. And we didn't even, this, I didn't have enough money to afford, I only had one box, so I was front squatted the hell out of him. And his back squat wasn't very good, so we had no choice but the front squat. 8 to 9 weeks, he went from a 255 front squat to a 365 front squat.
Jeez.
But the kid wanted to get better at his 40, and he ran there 4.8, and I said, damn. And then something came across my phone, or I was reading a book, and it said characteristics of elite shot putters. The elite shot putters, as far as elite being in the Olympics, they have between a 500 and a 550 bench. Bench is highly correlated with shot put distance. And so I said characteristics of shot put guys, just like this, the kid on your team in high school, I took his bench from a 280 to a 360 bench in very few months.
Right, 3 months, around that time.
Yeah, guess what he did this year with shot put? Killed it.
Killed it.
You know, did he win state? How far did you?
I believe, I want to say 4th in the state, 3rd or 4th in the state as a sophomore.
Yeah. And so he went from I took him from a 335 squat to a 500 squat.
In 3 months.
Was that in March, April, May, June? Maybe 4.
4 months.
And a bench from 280 to 360.
Crazy numbers.
I think I got him to jump a 30 inch. I don't know what I have. I don't have his folder. I don't have any tracker of it right here in front of me, but I have it at the gym. Yeah, so he got a lot better. And what's so frustrating is they'll get that, then they'll never come back. But you said, what did you say? Don't believe in. What's the point?
Well, he knows that he increased what he wanted to increase. And then I think standing from, if I put myself in his shoes, it'd be like, he wants to play college football. So his goal isn't to be a 1,000-pound squatter. It's to be, he doesn't want to, the injury side of it, he doesn't want that. So he's more concerned about now improving his football skill and things of that nature rather than getting a 700 squat.
But he don't have to have a 700 squat to play football.
Right.
But what could he come do? He could work on his jumps, working, like you said, working on your drill. I want to work on my football skills. Your skills are limited by your physical ability to produce that force.
Right.
And so if he wants a quicker first step, needs to be able to jump, needs to work on explosive. What about the stride length and stuff that we've been doing, like and stuff like you don't have to come to the gym and always squat once you get to a certain level.
Right.
There's a lot more stuff that you learned this past year that took about 6 years for you to learn. You don't have to. The gym, once you become more advanced, then your training becomes more advanced. But until then, there's so many people that's not advanced that they have to do the same bullcrap over.
You gotta go through the basics.
And over and over. You can't go from kindergarten to 6th grade and be successful in 6th grade.
Right.
But let's circle back here before we get too lost. This kid his parents wanted to see running drills. Jared, he's got to get faster. He's got to get faster. So being that they're not seeing the drills, they're not seeing he's getting faster. Although I showed him on paper that's what's happening. 1, 2, so November, January, February, March, April. He went from a 6 flat, 5.6, 5.4, 5.3. I need to get faster. Is Jared doing his job?
Based on the numbers, yes.
That's 0.7 of a second.
in one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And so I try to average a tenth of a second off a person per month.
Right.
And there's a kid somewhere in here. I took pictures of this kid right here. In 1 year, he went from running a 6 flat 40 to running a 5 340, 7/10 of a second for him. And as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months was about tenth of a second, you know. Although it was a year later, he was August, September, October, December, June, July, August, September again. So he was not there complete.
12 consistent.
Yeah, 12-month cycle, but we still went from a 6.2 from starting in August of 17 to August of 18 at 5.3. He needs to get faster. I mean, what are you telling me?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating because I'm showing the parent that they're faster. You know, like when we set the lasers up at the gym, if I set them from 19 to 20 yards, someone at your speed or someone that's running a 4.8, 4.7, you know how fast you're running between 19 and 20 yards?
How fast?
0.11 on average. So that's a tenth of a second every 3 yards, every 3 feet, 1 yard. And so if you take someone that's a half second faster, that's 15 feet difference. And so if you had to put yourself in the shadow, like some of those video games where you're racing your own shadow or whatever,
right?
Imagine being that much further behind your old self. Imagine if you could see videotape over time.
In however many work months, 7 work months, 6 work months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
you're a completely different athlete.
Yeah, but it's frustrating. We went from a 20-inch vertical to a 28-inch vertical. And trying to find it. This other kid went to a speed training place for a year. And don't know exactly where it's at. Here it is. So January, February, March, May, June, and August. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you count the first month, 6 test months, okay? If I'm doing my job, I'm trying to average off a tenth of a second per month. And sometimes it may go 5 flat, 4.8. But so starting January, starting was a 5.3, a 5.4, a 5.46, a 5.49, and a 5.36. 5.35, 5.46, 5.49, and a 5.36. I couldn't believe it was that damn slow. I was going to a speed place, did speed drills and agility drills and all that stuff for a complete year. He runs 5.3.
Didn't work for him.
No, so then, so that was January. February, he ran a 5.25 and a 5.29. So his first month, 5.3, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3. So I tested him 4 times because I didn't believe it, but his first one was a 5.3, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3. February, at the end of February, when we tested him again, he ran a 5.25 and a 5.29, so we're a little bit more consistent. Then March, we ran a 5.17 and a 5.17. Then here, we ran a 5 flat, 5.01, and a 5.07. Then we ran a 4.86 and a 4.90. Then we ran a 4.77 and a 4.81.
Back in the 4.7s.
Yeah. And so over time, we went from a 5.3 to a 4.7. The kid played baseball, and if you don't run sub-7 in baseball, you're not gonna get a scholarship. And so I've told people, you can pay me $1,000 a month for 2 years. You can pay me $24,000. Sounds like a lot of money, but if I get your college paid for,
it's an investment.
it's well worth it. But
that's not $1,000 a month.
No, it's not $1,000 a month to come to the gym. If you want to pay me $1,000 a month to come to the gym, come on, I'll gladly accept you. But if you don't work, even though if you pay me $1,000 a month, I'll fire your ass.
Right.
Because there are some kids that come and they think they're above the gym. We had a kid, were you there last week when we called out a kid? He was, okay, let me ask you a question. this made me mad. I'm gonna have to call the kid's dad because I called him out and he's not been back. It was this. When did you go on vacation?
Last week.
Last
Beginning of last week.
Okay, so you may have not been there.
Right.
This kid came in. He squatted 5 sets of 5. And dumbbell jumped in 30 minutes.
It's not good.
Is that possible?
No. It's not. It could be possible, but you're not getting any type of good numbers.
No.
And you probably didn't do all of what you're supposed to do.
No. So let's cover that. I took a picture of it with my phone because I took his photo because his dad was complaining that his vertical jump was not improving. His first month, he ran a 5.2 and a 40. I tested him at a 5.2. He ran a 5.28 and a 5.31. Next month, he ran a 5.16 and a 5.22. And the next month, he ran a 5.09. So we went 5.2, 5.1, 5 flat. That's perfect improvement as far as what I'm looking for in the 40-yard dash. Right. But his vertical jump started off at a 31.7. Second month was a 33.5. And the last month he tested it was a 29.9. Didn't even break 30.
Jeez.
He finished squatting 5 sets 5. So if you're rolling on count and I'm counting you, we are resting 5 minutes between each set. And so by the time you get warmed up, we're going to start about 10 after. And so he did 5 sets of 5 in 20 minutes. Is that? So how did he squat 5 sets of 5? Because we don't start on time. So if you're there at 10 o'clock, we're not starting at 10 o'clock.
It's about 10:10.
Yeah. So we may start our first set between 10:10 and 10:15. For those of you who don't know, I allow the athletes warm-up time, approximately 10 minutes to warm up before we start our first set as a group. And Dylan may have 5 sets. Some kids may have 3 sets, and some kids may have 4 sets. No one ever squats the same sets and reps.
Right.
And because it's individualized per person, because I'm trying to get Dylan faster, and any other kid that comes to the gym, I'm trying to get everybody faster per month, not just Dylan, not just this kid here and this kid there, not this female here and this female there. I am programming you in order to manipulate your system so that you get better. You know, I'm not running a gym to where we're doing a group exercise. You know, because we'll go from squat to jump and break off into our individual things based off what y'all need individually. You know, sometimes everybody's not doing the same thing. So this kid, without telling, he hadn't dumbbell jump. So the thing about the dumbbell jumps and the jump mat, it holds you liable to know exactly where your numbers are to give you something to beat.
Right.
We're not just doing jumping. We're not coming in there just doing jump exercises.
Can't jump higher that way.
No. And so I'm going to explain, I've got a book coming out. It's called Explosive Mechanics Dumbbell Jumps. And so hopefully it's out within the next month, 4 to 6 weeks. It's just got to get from computer to book format. And I need to figure out how to get it encrypted to where it can't be shared from friend to friend or computer to computer through ebook format, and I'm gonna have hard copies available. Hard copies may take a little bit longer to come out. But this kid, when we cycle our dumbbell jumps and we go through maybe the second wave or whatever, you should be about 2 inches higher the next time around. So if his first day he jumped a 31 of a 24.3, then the next day he jumped a 26.3 with him, so he broke his record, and then he jumped 25.1. So as he went down the list, we got onto him, called him out, because when he was, I don't know if you can see this, but he said he tied his, see what he ended with the first time through with 40s.
Okay.
See, he jumped a 23.3. The next time we came in, see what he jumped?
He got worse on the second cycle.
Yeah.
Which means that you're not doing something right if you're getting worse. Because I've never seen anyone
Get
who's done their stuff properly get worse on the second cycle. That's the whole point. You may have a good day and a bad day on your first cycle, but then when you hit the second cycle,
that's when you're beating it. You don't realize it's working until you're round 2.
Right.
But instead of being 2 inches better, he's 2 inches worse.
Right.
And so we called him out, and of course, Carson was there. And I stopped the gym and I explained to everybody, you have to beat it. You have to surround yourself with people in order to beat your numbers.
Right.
You can't go over there. It's not explosive mechanics is not a freaking fitness place. I hate fitness. We're there for numbers. And if you're not coming to the gym for numbers, if you're not monitoring your numbers, I don't want you. It's stuff like that pisses me. Because a lot of kids see stuff as a punch list. Maybe like
get it done and get out, clock in and clock out.
Exactly. They want to see, okay, oh, it says I got to come in here, I got to bench, I got to incline, I got to do my tricep press downs, I got to do my lat pulls, maybe some cable curls, maybe some OTEs. How fast can I get that shit done and get out of here?
Which is not a good mindset to have.
No, because you'll get worse. How do you go from a 33-inch vertical to a 29-inch vertical after a month of training?
You're not training properly.
You're not trying to beat your shit. You know, I watched him that day. You know how much time he spent on his dumbbell jumps? About 4 minutes.
It's not good.
Did he try? And so I stopped the gym and I told everybody, come here, look. And I pulled his folder out and I wanted to go over it so that other people understand what they're there for. And so after I explained how you should beat it and you should be looking to beat what you did last time, if you beat or even tie what you did last time, then the next time you beat it a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, it's physically impossible not to get better. And so I gave my spiel and I talked about it, and Carson goes, after all that, you're not going to go try to beat your jump? He said, I tied it. I tied mine. Well, as you see, he tied his best. He was 2 inches away from his best.
Right.
Don't care. And so, supposed to be going to play college athletics later on. I think he's going to be a junior or senior in high school. With that attitude, he's going to get his ass kicked on the court. You know? I see you over there mesmerized by the numbers. You can't believe someone would be that bad. So...
it's a waste of training.
Yeah. Because his dad believes in it, because his dad has seen it and heard the podcast, because he knows I measure for results.
Right.
Why is he? All right, if I got 10 kids that are getting better and one kid that's not, whose fault is it? It's the kid's fault. It ain't my fault.
You know, and maybe it's the kid's fault because at first he doesn't understand what he's supposed to be doing, but it's like after you explain time and time again, if they're just not willing to take the extra time, do the extra work, then they're not going to get the numbers, and that's just on them.
I think the main thing about the gym is that when you come, primarily on lower body day, we're monitoring your jump numbers per workout. We're monitoring your squat speed numbers per workout, right?
And you're doing that surrounded by a group on lower body day.
Yeah.
You're squatting.
How important it is to have a group?
I mean, if you go in there, if you go to a 24-hour fitness place and you go and try and squat, you may have your earbuds in and try and get hyped up enough to do your weight. But when you go to explosive and you have the kids that are like-minded like you, maybe same grade, 2 years apart, something like that, they're all going to play college somewhere, or they're interested in leveling up at their sport, then you come in and it's a different attitude for everybody. So then when you get on the squat bar, you see someone move it fast, I'm moving it faster. You see him move this weight like that, well, I'm going to move my weight like this. And it becomes a competition and everyone's rooting for each other. And then you take that and go over to jumps, and then it becomes kid versus kid.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the best competition breeds the results.
Yeah, you've got to have competition. And I think the thing about that kid is he's kind of wanted to be on his own. He didn't want to be pushed or have someone around
Some
him.
kids are like that. They like working out by themselves, but at the same time, you need other people in the gym around you. It's human nature. When someone watches you squat, you're going to be faster than when you're just looking to get it done and get it out of the way by yourself.
Yeah, because if you got like Z-Quick and they're trying to break his squat numbers and he's having a bad day, what's he do? He calls people over there to watch.
Right, exactly.
Then all of a sudden numbers get better.
Yep.
And so we're trying to break our squat speed numbers. We're trying to break our jump numbers. We're trying to do these things per workout so that when we get to the end of each month, we're better.
And that's why there's different hours. There's hours for high school kids. There's hours for elementary kids, so that they're surrounded with people like them, so that they can compete.
What do you think the biggest thing that we've learned on the squats? I'm trying to figure out how to publish or even get this done. Squatting at, what do you think changed you this past semester? That safety squat bar off the box really helped you out.
Right. That helped me out. And not only that, I think before when I tried to come in, you see the tendo. And if you notice when you do tendo box squats, if you give it a little extra at the end, maybe like a little calf raise or a little extra jump, the number's going to be faster.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially cheating it a little at the top.
Yeah.
You're not actually moving it that fast. But once you do it that way once, you have to do it that way all the time because your numbers have to be the same. You have to beat your numbers. So the only way to beat that is by cheating every time. Only problem with that is when you're running, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't translate.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is not try to cheat the tendon.
Right. If your number is slow at first, you'd rather it be slow and doing it right and then make that number faster than by cheating it and always have to cheat because you're never going to get better. And I think that's what I used to do is I would see kids get these fast numbers and I would want them. So then I would a lot of people bounce it off their back and you can get into big trouble that way. And then the safety squat bar, you can't cheat it as much. You have to, it's close to your body, it's in here, so you can't bounce it like that, and it really helps you stay honest. And then the numbers that you're getting, they're true numbers. So when you're improving, you're truly improving, and then you're truly running faster.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And speaking of those numbers, I'm trying to get a lot of kids at the gym to figure out, for those who've listened to the podcast before, I'm usually chasing that 0.6 range. When you say for the tendo unit?
0.6 range. And then
you're not always squatting sixes. You're maybe in the fives, sometimes in the fours, right?
And I even see some kids where their normal days are high threes, low fours.
Yeah. And so it breaks down when I speak. It's for the most part, most of the people, but there are some exceptions to like threes and fours, like you said.
Right.
Sometimes they have to strain enough in order to produce enough force in order to get stronger to where they can move the weight at that certain speed. But what I've started doing this past year is I've started tracking people. Like got kids, why is he faster? I'm doing this, I'm moving this way, this. And so what I started trying to think is, how fast are you moving a certain percentage of your body weight at a 0.6?
Right.
And so when you ran your 4.8, 4.81?
4.81.
You squatted 370 at a 0.6.
Right.
That's 1.61 times your body weight. And so then this kid, he squatted 280 at a 0.64, which is 1.45 times his body weight, which is a 4.94. So that 1.45 versus the 1.61 is almost 0.15 difference.
Which is the difference in the 40.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But it may not be always calculated that way. So Jack, who broke the gym record, is a 4.57. For those you don't know, a 4.57 at the gym is fast.
Complete laser.
Yeah, people.
Fast.
You can say what you want to. If you can come to the gym and run a 4.5 40, you can come for free.
Fast.
Yeah, because there's no. It's very rare that someone's going to come there and run that. Willing enough for me to give them away free gym.
Yeah.
If you think you can run a 4.5, come on. Anyway, this kid, he squatted 1.78 times his body weight, ran a 4.57.
Which 1.78 is insane.
Fat, because you're moving 1.78 at a 0.65.
Right. It's not just you're maxing 1.78, you're moving it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then, so 1.78 yielded a 4.5 740-yard dash. Well, this one kid, he moved 315 at a 6.2. All right, the difference, so you got the kid that squatted 305 at a 0.65, ran a 4.57. 305 at a 0.65 yielded a 4.57. This other kid squatted 315, which is 10 pounds heavier, at a 0.62. 0.62, 0.65, basically the same thing.
Right.
but that kid ran a 5.14 40-yard dash. So you got a 4.57 and a 5.14 40-yard dash.
I bet you they don't weigh the same.
The difference is the kid that ran 5.140 squatted 1.37 times his body weight.
Exactly.
At a 6.
Right.
So it's how fast you're moving your relative weight at a 0.6.
At a 0.6.
So you squatted a 1.61, ran a 4.85. That 1.7. So if you would have squatted 1.78, what I'm trying to figure out is compile a list of a lot of people to figure out where exactly we are in the 40-yard dash.
Right, and then the 1 month.
So this kid right here would always bitch because he's trying to get to the 4.9.
Yep.
But he ran. So the kid he squatted 1.49 times his body weight. So 295 at a 6'3", 1.49, ran a 503. Do I have the kid? Yeah. This kid right here, he squatted 375 at a 0.63, but that was 1.56 times his body weight, ran a 493. And so if 1.56, so if we can get this kid to go from a 1.49 to a 1.53, he'd be in the
4.9 range.
4.9 range. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So what I'm trying to do at the gym, or check out this kid, 185 at a 0.63. This kid ran a 185. Squatted 185 out of 0.63. 40 was a 5.71.
But his relative to his weight, it was 0.94.
Yeah, 0.94. So that goes to show you strength
It matters.
matters, and how fast you move a certain percentage of your body weight
Right.
at a certain rate of speed does matter. And so what I'm trying to do is, if a kid comes to the gym, hey Jared, what do I have to do to run a 4.7? Well, I think you need to squat 1.68 times your body weight. So if I can get enough people to compile this list to figure out,
And have that number.
yeah, and you got plus or minus 0.3 or
Right.
whatever it is, you know, you got,
Yeah.
I need enough people to where, that's why I've been mainly for a lot of people, even if they don't really play sports, I still want them to test so that I can get my variability in there. And so this kid ran a 1.63, ran a 492. So he ran he squatted 1.63 times his body weight at a 6'7", ran a 492. Well, this kid squatted 1.56 and ran a 493. So that's just a little bit, but that 1.56 versus 1.63 times your body weight may not be that much of a difference in total
Right.
squat. A 335 versus 375 squat, they're not the same body weight, so I'd have to, again, add some more numbers to where I can look at a concrete
Right.
sheet to where, okay, I need to be in this range in order to do this. If you're squatting 1.7 times your body weight, or this kid just squatted 1.78 times his body weight and ran a 457. If you squat 1.7 times your body weight and you're running a 4.9, squatting is then not your limiting factor. We don't need to squat more. Something else is holding you back. So there's no point, like you said, the kid that I took from a 335 squat to a 500 squat, once we have his squat at a certain relative number right here, there is no point in risking injury or risk for reward type thing anymore.
Exactly. Like even the kid at the top there, that's at the 178.
Yeah, there's
trying
other.
to push his squat.
Yeah, we're done.
Especially since he's a pitcher in baseball.
He's a baseball pitcher with a freaking gym record for the 40-yard dash.
Exactly. So there's no point for him to continue to push unless he was going for some type of 40-yard record somewhere.
I don't think pitchers even freaking run.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be a pinch runner as a pitcher
Exactly.
in baseball.
Yeah.
He's gonna be faster than the center fielder.
Right.
But 1.37 equals 514, and you can see that 5.7. So I like to see a lot more numbers like this, because this goes over here, puts more meat to the table.
Right. Even I'm a big believer in it because that 1 month there that I moved 370 at a 0.6, I think it was 3 weeks later I had 385 for sets, 2 sets of 5 at the end of my day, and I moved it at a 6.1. And that month is when I went from a 485 to a 481. But after I saw that 0.6 pop up on my 385 set, I knew that it was going to translate directly. It's like seeing money pop up on the slot machine because it translates directly.
Yeah, but you know what you're chasing, and you've been there long enough to. I brought your folder home because if you look back, you were not always fast. I see a 5.83 40-yard dash in here for you.
Long time ago.
5.83. I think you start off at your highest vertical is a 41.3. Starting off, maybe what do you think your starting vertical? Oh, damn, not even that. I actually see a 5.90 and a 5.93 40-yard dash.
Jeez.
I think because you see right here where it's pink.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of the folder where it was pink was where it was not complete laser. So your first complete laser 40 was a 5.90 and a 5.93.
Not a good look.
Would you be going to Navy if you ran a 5.9? What about that 24-inch vertical?
Not going to cut it.
No, but that's crazy. So it went from 5.9, 5.8, 16, 2016, 5.9, 5.8. Look at your improvement. 5.9, 5.8, 5.7, 5.5, 5.4, 5.5. Then this got covered up right here. Then over here it's got a 5.1. So what's crazy is sometimes it's not perfect improvement. I saw a kid the other day. He went from a 5.5, 5.3. The next month was a 5.4.
Right.
And so 5.5, 5.3, 5.4 is kind of, but then the next month was a 5.2, then a 5.3, then a 5 flat, then a 5.1.
What you talk about sometimes, what's that called? Delayed training?
Yeah, delayed transformation.
Delayed transformation.
And your training, but what you'll see is the 26, 29, 29.9, 29.8, 30.9, and this, so you ran a 5.45 and jumped to 30.9 inch vertical. This is where the delayed transformations coming in. So you ran a 5.4, the next month you ran a 5.58, but your vertical was a 31.2. Jumping and running are correlated.
Right.
Because your 41.3 was probably the same month you had your fastest 40-yard dash time, right?
It was.
And so like something like this kid at the gym, Kelvin, his 40 didn't get as good this past month as he wanted to. Still ran a 4. He was consistent with a 4.9.
Right.
And we're talking about a kid that started off at a 5.6 to a 4.9. He started slacking on his dumbbell jumps. And I think the kids, when you're not, dumbbell jumps is a rate of force development exercise. So when we're box squatting, we're increasing, we're using a method which is called the static dynamic method. We are manipulating the nervous system to create more neurons to pull on the fiber so the fiber contracts harder and faster. So we're using a box squat for a method which is static dynamic method, which increases absolute strength and rate of force development at the same time. And so then by the time we're increasing our absolute strength and our rate of force development, that's how we're getting faster squatting. Because we're using a method that works on our rate of force, how to quickly develop force when our foot contacts the ground, and then how fast our hips and our knees extend as we're in stride. But the dumbbell jumps takes that rate of force development training and sharpens it even more. A lot of people do power cleans and want to power clean this and they want to power clean that. And like that guy, he said his daughter runs track and he said, do I do power cleans? No. And I think power cleans is so shoved down our throat, you can't get stronger doing power cleans. The bar moves too fast. So what did I say? How do you create strength? You got to create tension. So if the bar is moving too fast, you're not going to create enough muscular tension to create any type of strength.
Right.
So power cleans are a rate of force development exercise. A lot of people look at the Olympic lifters that they're so explosive. Well, you do know, so for an Olympic lifter to be explosive, they have to be so freaking strong. Explosive strength is about 75% of absolute strength. And I said 75%, but that even goes even further because if you look at the people that are in the Olympics, whatever they're cleaning and jerking for world records and first, second, third place for gold medal, bronze and silver, whatever 75% of their front squat is probably what they're going to do in the Olympics for clean and jerk. And so do you know what the so if I'm going to power clean 500 pounds, you got to figure out 500 pounds is going to be 75% of my front squat max. So I have my calculator here. So if I was going to squat, if I wanted to power clean 500 in the Olympics, that's roughly got to be 75% of my front squat max. So I would need to be around a 665 front squatter in order to clean 500. So could I clean 500? Could I do a power clean with 500 if my front squat max was 405?
Nope.
The Olympic lifters also, they squat all the time. So if you look at the 1996 Greek Olympic team, they'd squat Monday, they'd squat front squat in the morning,
Come in at night.
front squat, and back squat again in the afternoon. Then Tuesday, they were squatting in the morning. They didn't do any squatting in the afternoon, but so Monday they were squatting in the morning and afternoon. Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning and afternoon, Thursday morning, Friday was morning and afternoon again. And they were, when I say morning and afternoon, you're front squatting and back squatting morning and afternoon. So your front squat, so it's like you come to the gym, you're gonna go box squat, then we're gonna go front squat. Then you're gonna come back later, we're gonna go front squat, then we're gonna box squat again, the same damn day.
And they're talking about a lot of weight.
Yeah. I don't know. The only thing it did not clarify is the percentage of their absolute or the percentage of their maximum they were using. But every time, so they were front squatting and back squatting at the same time in the morning and afternoon. But every time they perform a clean or snatch, which is still in the workout, what are they doing? They're squatting as they're cleaning and they're squatting as they're snatching. So
it's even more.
They are standing up and down a lot.
Yep.
And if you ever, and then people say, if you ever watch an Olympic lifter, or if you see a video of them after they, in the Olympics or some type of high level Olympic lifter, after they drop the weight and they jump up, they got tremendous ground clearance. You know why? Because their legs are so damn strong.
Right.
So the reason they're jumping high and they're explosive is because they're so strong, not because they're doing the Olympic lifts themselves. So the Olympic lifters, they're squatting all the time and they're using the clean and the snatch as far as technical aspect. They're only doing 1 to 2 reps. If you look at 60% of all their lifts, they're only doing 2 reps per every time they power clean. 60% of the time they're in there cleaning, they're only doing 2 reps at a pop. You know, because it's kind of like if I were to give you 3 sets of 8 on squat versus 8 sets of 3. Same number, 24 total reps. But your body's gonna learn averages, it's gonna learn how to produce power. So if I gave you 3 sets of 8, and so if I was giving you 315, what do you think? So if you squat 315, what do you think your first rep would be? Like 315 stage squat bar. What do you think your first rep would be? 8, 7?
8.
What do you think your 8th rep would be?
Not an 8.
No. But if I gave you 8 sets of 3, which is the same thing, 24 reps.
You can move it.
You'd be a lot more consistent.
Right? Because it's only 3 reps a pop.
Yep. So you got a shot to get 3 8s with that, right?
Right.
You have a shot to get 8
8
8s in a row,
or even 8 7s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what you're trying to do is flipping the set and rep scheme in reverse order. You can knock. It's going to take you a lot. You'll knock out 3 sets of 8 quicker than you will 8 sets of 3.
Right.
But you're not going to get better. So why do that work if you're not going to get anything for it? You're going to go work 40 hours a week and not get paid?
Doesn't sound like a plan to me.
No. And so it's crazy just flipping the sets and reps what they'll do. We had this other kid. He started off. He ran a 5.6, 5.4, 5.1, 5 flat, 5 flat, 5 flat, and finally got to a 4.97 and a 4.93 at 240 pounds. And so you're 235 pounds. So you know how hard it is to run a 4.9 and a 4.8 at that body weight.
Yep.
You jumped to 41.3 and this kid jumped to 40.0. I'm trying to see in his folder if he wrote down what he has some goals to run a 4.7. He needs to squat 390 at a 0.6.
At a 0.6.
So to run a 4.7, he needs to squat 390 at a 0.6, but he actually squatted 375 at a 0.63, which was 4.93. So he's probably about right. If he can squat that 390 at a 0.6, he may run that 4.7 something. And so getting and teaching kids the 1.3 versus 1.4 versus the 1.5, like your 161 versus one kid's 1.45 was a 481 versus a 494. So that 1500, 1600ths of a second was almost what it was but that's only two people.
Right. You need a larger sample size.
And so this one kid was going to come to the gym. He squatted 50% of his body weight at a 0.6. He ran a 6'8" 40-yard dash.
I bet.
And his mom and dad said, well, he squats this much at school.
Same school.
Yeah. It's so hard. Then I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that's wrong. Well, I'm the one telling them how fast they're moving weight at a certain rate of speed.
Well, that's why I'm thankful for our strength coach at our school, because that's, everyone there, they know what a squat looks like. And then when they go at other places.
Yeah, at least when y'all come, it's a lot easier for me to manipulate you. Like that one kid, although he's trained at school and then he went somewhere else for speed training, he still ran a 5'5" 40-yard dash. But he comes to the gym and the parents were, what am I paying for? I said, results. That's what I'm about, is results.
Yep.
And take him from a 5'5" to a 5'1". You're not going to get a scholarship running a 5'5" 40-yard dash.
Nope.
So you can't just go to a family friend or someone who thinks to train. People may know how to work out, but do they know how to get numbers? Is the big thing.
Difference.
There's a big difference between working out and getting the numbers from it. So even the speed manual over here. Let's see if I can find it. Where it says the number one thing, and I don't have anything bookmarked because I told Dylan I was not as prepared for this as I originally wanted to be. But the most important thing, what's the number one thing to get faster? Our keys to improving stride length or sprinting. What do you have to do?
Increase relative strength.
The stronger you are in relation to your body weight, the more force you'll be able to apply into the ground with each foot strike. This propels your body further in space with each foot strike, i.e. increases athletes' stride length. So if you can't put the power in the ground,
right.
So it's just like you could take a 350-pound lineman and he squats 350 pounds. That's why they call it the fat man shuffle, whatever they call.
Yep.
They're not strong relative to how much they weigh, so they're not putting the force in the ground for them to get the stride length they need to. Several years ago, like when I found that the athletes that squat 2.1 times their body weight are significantly faster than those who do not. That 2.1 does not correlate with these 1.37 because we're moving this at a certain rate of speed based off our body weight.
Rather than just.
That way it's going to correlate more to a 40-yard dash instead of just being. As I started looking, and I found that elite shot putters bench between 500 and 550. I said, damn, what does the Olympics, what do the Olympic sprinters do? And so I tried a characteristic that the elite sprinters did, is elite, talking Olympic level. Okay. Kids were watching, the kids, I get shit, they're kids now, I guess to me, we're watching on TV sprint, 2.5 times their body weight. But we don't.
Not with a 2.5 times.
Yeah,
their actual max is 2.5
yeah,
times.
So they a characteristic or something they all have in common is they have about a 2.5 times body weight squat.
Which probably, if they were moving it at a 0.6, would be around that 1.7 range.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm trying to get these numbers so I can correlate it that way, because when you're watching like Tyson Gay, Usain Bolt, and all those other people sprint, are we seeing them squat?
Nope.
We're seeing drills.
Right.
If I can't jump further if I don't have the power, I can jump all damn day long. And so once I found that they have a characteristic or something in common as a 2.5 times body weight squat, then the limiting factor for us to get faster at the gym, the limiting factor for us to get faster is, can I increase their strength? Can I increase their strength at a relative body weight? You know, that's why like people crack on us, well, hey, y'all do powerlifting, they're powerlifters. No, we're not. We
just
don't
need the relative strength to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, we have to lift to get faster.
It's like there's people, if you ask a question, if you were to sit there for every day of the month and just run sprints, do you think at the end of the month you'd be faster? There's people that would say yes, but you're not going to be because you're not increasing your relative strength.
Yeah, you may feel more efficient.
Right, because you're working on form, you're becoming a better runner.
Yeah,
you're not becoming faster.
I had someone say, Jared, what's more important, running efficiency or running power? Remember, if you have enough power, you can overcome technical issues.
Right.
And so you can be, you could take someone that's highly efficient running, but they can still be slow.
Right.
Because
it's harder to get that power, that engine,
yeah,
than it is to get the efficiency.
Because you're just like that, the number one thing to increase stride length is power. Putting power to the ground is going to increase length of time in air.
Right.
Which each time, like bolts, foot contact ground is a tenth of a second. We're not bolts, so it's even more critical for us, you know.
Right.
I think I may get this wrong. What's the guy's John Ross? Is he the
John Ross? Yep.
4.22 40-yard dash.
4.22 guy.
I think he ran the 40-yard dash in 19 steps. But what aggravates me is there's a place down the street that don't test, but somehow they tested this guy's 20-yard dash. High school kid.
Right.
You know what they said he ran in a 20-yard dash?
I don't even want to guess.
Give me the most absurd number you could think of.
2.6.
They said he ran a 2.47.
20-yard dash.
Yeah. Is that possible?
No.
No.
His 40 would have to be
3.9.
Yeah. That's just not.
And for those you don't know, the 20-yard dash is more important than the 10-yard dash. You got numbers here like this kid. He ran a 2.66.20. He ran a 4.60.20.
Right.
What is I don't have. I may have his video, and I can't because the phone's recording the stuff. But even the kid that ran a 4.57 in the gym, he didn't even run a 2.4. I think he was a 2.6 something, or 2.61, 2.63.20, and he ran a 4.57.
Laser.
Isaiah Simmons at the NFL Combine. You heard of him?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Is he a freak?
He's a freak.
He ran a 4.39.40.
At his body weight and how big he is.
I don't know how much does he weigh and stuff. I don't
I
know.
believe he was 6'3.5", 230, something around there.
Okay. Regardless of that, he ran a 4.39.40. You know what his 20-yard dash was?
Not a 2.4.
No.
Maybe like a 2.6.
A 2.58.
2.58.
A 2.58, and they're saying a high school kid, ran a 2.47.
It's fantasy world.
And so that's what makes it so hard for me is, like I had a kid several years ago that came to the gym, and I timed him in a 5.1, 5.240. His dad said that's not right, and he never came back.
Yep.
And it's because you're trying to, you're trying to figure this out. You're trying to tell them the truth, but a lot of people that I too would stopwatch, hand times, and all this other stuff. I had a group of kids that came to the gym this past semester. They all swore they ran a 4.7. Time them. One of them ran a 5.1. One of them ran a 5.2 complete laser.
But in a couple months.
In a couple months they were getting there.
Right.
But the thing is when they're at the gym and they're getting timed on that. If I time you, you've been timed at a 4.8 at the gym.
Right.
If you go somewhere and they're using a stopwatch and they tell you you're on a 5 flat, you know they're lying.
But even I've seen a couple buddies of mine that go to the gym and they go to these prospect camps and they run faster than they run faster at the prospect camps than they've ever ran at explosive, because explosive is going to be your biggest critic when it comes to the laser 40. If you can run something there, you're going to be faster elsewhere.
Yeah, I had a kid who went and played football at a Big Ten school. The fastest that I could time him, and he was a pretty big time prospect. He was on TV.
It was a corner.
Yeah, he was on TV, and he was one of those kids that were like, which hat am I going to choose? Which school?
Right.
So he was on primetime TV trying to figure out.
Five-star.
Yeah. The fastest I saw him run at the gym was 4.7 on the laser system.
The laser system.
4.70.
Right.
Goes to the Big Ten school. Then he runs they time him at a 4.4.
Exactly.
And so, but if you're getting someone ready for the NFL Combine, and you're doing hand time, and I time them at a 4.4 40-yard dash. So there's a kid I could possibly get ready for the Combine if I time him at a 4.4 at the gym, stop watching everything else. He gets to the Combine, he runs a 4.6 or 4.7 laser.
He's not going to be too happy.
How pissed is he going to be?
Yeah.
Because I've been lying to him. Wouldn't you rather come to the gym and you run a 4.8 40 and you go somewhere else and you time a 4.6?
I would.
The years ago, before I got the complete laser system, I would have some kids that would go. I'd time them at a 4.8 and 40, and they go to a combine, and they use lasers, and they were timing the kids at a 5 flat. And I was like, that's not right. So I went and I bought that box, how we start, and I started then. Somehow the kid with a complete laser system ran a 5 flat, what they did at the combine. I said, so now I know if I have a kid and we go somewhere, they're never going to run any worse.
Slower, exactly. Which it goes back to the whole, you're not cheating the system when you're running an explosive. So when you're getting faster, you're actually getting faster.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you run.
And by using the complete laser system, I know where you're breaking down at in the 40-yard dash.
Yep, you got the first 10, you got the 10 to 20,
Now,
20 to 40.
but guess what? I guess you were here for test week. I know we're getting lost in all this stuff. We're going on a good bit, but there's a lot of information here. So I had a kid. I called the laser system company today, and I ordered another set of gates. So I'm timed 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and 30 to 40. My goal is to have more 40-yard dash knowledge than anyone else out there. So what I found is the kid that ran from his 30 to 40, he ran a 1.06 30 to 40. And his 40-yard dash was a 501. So 501 and his 30 to 40, so between 30 yards and 40 yards, he ran a 1.06 on one of them. He ran a 501. The next one, his 30 to 40, was a 1.00. You know what he ran?
496.
495.
495.
And so that 0.06 from 30 to 40, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
And second one, 0.06 difference, which led to the...
It showed up. It was a...
Yeah, and it's trying to figure out where I took all these. This kid was squatting 240 at 0.76, 0.6972. And so now with me being able to see the 30 to 40 yard time, I'll be able to see if they're slowing down at the end of the 40. You know, then if I can say, hey, Dylan, you just ran a 1.06 and next time you ran a 1.00, I actually say, hey, you're slowing down. And so I thought that was interesting because I was trying to figure out the flying tens between each gate. So didn't want to cover that too much, but what I did want to cover is, I know it's got a lot of this 40-yard dash stuff. This kid, as you can see over here, where it's in pink, that's when I was doing hand start laser finish. And that's before the complete laser system. Here when it turns to blue,
That's when it was complete laser.
complete laser. And so this kid was running a 504 and a 487. So I ran a 504, 487, and then the next month he ran a 520 and a 516 and a 515. The difference was he went from a 4.8 to a 5.1. He was pissed. But I had to switch because you see right here where it started turning blue?
Yep.
But what he did not see is that his 5.2, he was actually faster than his 4.8 because his gate time between each laser was a 2.22. Okay, so the number here in parentheses is how fast they were 20 to 40. And so, although he was running a 5.16, he was running a 2.17. As 5.15, he was running a 2.13 20 to 40. When he was running the 4.87, he ran a 2.220. I mean, 20 to 40. So he's actually faster, but the main difference was the start time. His 2.70 was actually a 3 flat. So that's 0.3 of a second being a complete laser system at 20.
Right.
And so he thought, but I could tell that he was faster, although the 40-yard dash was slower. The 40-yard dash was slower because I was doing manual
start.
I was doing manual start, which was giving him a 2.0. So once I went to 2.70 and a 2.71. So I was pretty consistent with my start, with my manual start. But when I put that box down, he ran a 3.00, a 2.98, and a 3.01. So his 3.01, which is the slowest, he 3.00, 5.20, 2.98, and the 3.01. That 3.01, which is actually as slow as 20, was actually as fast as 40, it was 5.16. 3.00 was a 5.20. But the difference was the 20 to 40 where he ran the 2.13. And so then after that, you see how much he came back to test after that.
Yeah.
Kind of was frustrated because I switched to complete, because he was wanting to get down to a 4.7 or 4.8, but he couldn't because I switched the system. That's why it's important to have something that's concrete. But you see the 20 to 40 was much better.
Right.
But the 40 is not good. So that's the biggest thing about having a complete laser system. It's allowed me to really pinpoint where we're going wrong. You know, like with the kid that ran a 1.06 versus the 1.00 30 to 40 was the difference between a 5.01 and a 4.95.
Right.
That's a pretty fast number. I don't know if people's going to be able to get the big thing is I'm just trying to talk about how we're getting these numbers and where they're breaking down at so that people can understand we're not just in there stopwatch 40-yard dash times.
Exactly.
So is there any questions? You had some questions for me. You remember?
Want to shift gears, go into the difference between, because we do 3 upper, 3 lower body at the gym.
I think that's the big thing is our frequency in training is extremely high.
Most people don't squat 3 times a week. Most people don't bench 3 times a week. I know some kids that I just graduated with, their off-season training was more of a, you would call it a bodybuilding style, push-pull legs, but they're still training to be an athlete. You know, where do you see the problem with that, if there is a problem, as opposed to working out 3 upper, 3 lower?
If you were to think about how the jump sticker works, if you were to jump once a week, how long would it take you to reach 40th vertical?
A long time.
How much better would you get?
It would take you a much longer amount of time to get that number.
Yeah,
rather
because
than
training session 1, 2 is built off 1, 3 is built off 1 and 2.
you can do that in a week.
Yeah. So if you jump 3 times a week, you're going to, and especially if you're monitoring, trying to beat your numbers, you're going to be better. The push-pull is a bodybuilding regimen. And I was telling you, like, muscles will contract no matter what. So you like, you say, hey, Jared, you got to go push, then you got to go pull. You were saying something about that earlier.
Right.
And if you're talking about like a squat being a push and a deadlift being a pull, squatting is knee and hip extension, where deadlift is hip extension. And so with the deadlift, you're getting more backside structural strength, and with the regular squats, you're getting more front side structural strength. The thing that's wrong with that, who's faster?
The guy that does 3 upper, 3 lower.
Yeah, so you're faster than the...
Right.
And sometimes you're at the point at the gym now to where you can vary your training a lot more. And you're like, Jared, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? And I don't know if we can find out where you were talking about some of that stuff is I keep telling you the one thing. You got to find the one thing. Once you achieve that, then you deserve and have earned the right to vary.
Once you get the relative strength to a certain point,
then you earn the right to vary your training.
Right.
You know,
and get more specific with it.
Yeah, it's just like each year you're at the gym or whatever. It's a training year. It's 1 year under your belt. You can't go from a white belt to a black belt in a month, can you?
No.
How long does it take to go from a white belt to a black belt?
Long time.
Yeah. So you got to order these training years. So does the black belt can do more variation than the white belt, because the white belt's got to learn the basic moves.
Right.
And so once you have achieved a certain level, then you earn the right to vary stuff.
Exactly.
You don't earn the right to go teach a kid if you don't know anything. You don't have a first grader going to tell a teacher what they're doing today.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people won't feel like they're working. Hey, I did this. It's not about how much you do, it's how much you can recover from.
Yeah, and that was a big thing when COVID happened. We had a lot of college guys come back to the gym, and we had a whole 10 o'clock session just for the college guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to sneak my way in that group, even though I was going into my senior year of high school. And it was a great experience because you got guys from all over, different divisions, different level of play.
A lot of D1 athletes.
A lot of D1 guys, you know.
Power 5 schools.
And they all have different trainings at their school. And then we all come back and do the training that we're all used to and that we see the numbers from. But the thing was, they were so used to doing so much in a day at their different schools that they kind of came back and it wasn't enough when COVID hit. And what I mean when I say that is, like, we'd be in there every workout, you know, 3 upper, 3 lower, but you're talking 2.5 hours of workout.
Yeah, every time.
Every day.
And I was ready to get the hell out of there. I said, man, y'all are killing my damn day.
Yeah, and we just thought we had to do everything under the sun in the gym to get better. And when I look back now, I got better now than I did then, because we're overworking back then.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, and I always thought, oh, the more you do, the faster you're going to get. The more you do, the stronger you're going to get. It's what your body can recover from. And I think a lot of the times our bodies weren't recovering enough to warrant the workouts we were doing.
Yeah, because when we're working out, we're training. And
right.
The difference between training and working out is training is teaching the body how to perform certain things
at a high level.
Yeah, and working out is just basically calorie burning.
Right.
You know, you're in there, you're exercising, but you're not after a specific task. And I think I did a good job in my jump book of covering. I tried to go in there as the difference between working out and training.
Yep.
And training is training. Fatigue and training stands for teaching the body how to perform certain tasks. And the thing I was trying to tell you about, the one thing, especially for the jumps. Hey, Jared, when you won't do this jump, do this jump. If you jump 33-inch vertical, it's going to be hard for you to jump over multiple hurdles that start at 30 inches. You know what I'm saying? And I've had, I don't know if you was there when Lasky came back to the gym last year.
Yep. I think it was during the whole COVID group.
Yeah, so he came back to see some of the college kids in there. He tore his Achilles at the Rams and had surgery, got released, and did not do anything athletic after he tore his Achilles.
Right.
His highest vertical at the gym was a 38-something at 240 to 245 pounds.
He played fullback, didn't he?
Yeah, fullback, running back. I think he was at the Rams as a fullback, but at Tech he was a running back.
In their wing team.
Yeah, and so he was the guy that scored 3 touchdowns against Georgia, beating them one year, going to Orange Bowl and stuff.
I remember watching that.
And his starting vertical after coming in, getting ready for his pro day. So when we started in January training for his pro day, his highest vertical was a 32-inch vertical. The highest he can get. The next day he came in. So you know how the jumps work. So the next time we monitored his jumps, he jumped a 31. Then I'd have to have his folder to continue much. But the second day was not as good as first. So
right.
It took him about 4 or 5 workouts to go from 32 to 33. So that lets you know that even after that, and I'd like to see how long it took him to get to a 35. But the big thing about that is by the time he went from a 32-inch vertical to a 38.5-inch vertical. Quit playing football, quit doing anything athletic,
Because
job.
of his Achilles.
Yep.
Right.
Wife, kids, just started going to the regular workforce.
Uh-huh.
You know, came back in, hung out with us, and I asked him to jump, and he was nervous to jump because he's not done anything athletic. So he did.
Right.
All right, like when you get hurt, whether it's your hamstring, your neck, or your hip, or whatever, you're absolutely scared to do anything because you don't want to get hurt again.
Right.
And so he came in there hesitant to jump because he didn't want to. He's not done anything.
Yeah, something.
Didn't want to apply that force to his Achilles and risk being a dad that can't walk.
Right.
And so he jumped a 35.5-inch vertical that day without doing anything in 3 years. So, and for some reason, like I had this baseball player, he ain't been there in a while, and he still comes back and he ain't trained in a while and still jumping a 37-inch vertical, and finally got him to 40 this past week. For some reason, once that 40-inch vertical or that jump's trained into you, you really don't lose it. And I had a girl that used to come to the gym, and she played softball for UGA. She started training at the gym with a 19-inch vertical, and trained her all the way up. She got a 30-inch vertical. She didn't do anything for about 5 years. She played softball. Then she started going to nursing school. She started becoming a nurse and started working full-time, boyfriend, and everything athletic was out the window for 5 years. She came back. She jumped to 20. Before I did a podcast with her, and I asked her to jump 25-inch vertical.
Jeez.
After not doing anything athletic in 5 years.
That's crazy.
So her
baseline.
She was still 6 inches above her starting vertical at the gym.
Right.
Lasky was 3 inches above his starting vertical.
Right, and even there's another guy that comes into the gym, plays college ball, and he'll come in and jump with 30s in each hand. And his baseline with 30s in each hand is what, a 33, 34?
Yeah, with 30s in each, and don't jump at all. School.
Exactly. Taking months off, and that's his baseline now.
So
training.
So if you can always, what I'm saying, even like you said, may not even be there for a year, still come back and jump at a 33 or 34 with 30s in each hand.
Right.
Once you have that one thing, once you get that 40 trained into you, then you earn the right to go do more variation, different style jumps. Just like when you get that squat trained into you, once you get that certain number, then you earn the right for more variation. Because, like you said, that one kid at school was scared to get stronger. We need to figure out where your relative strength is. Once you get this number, then you can do more variation until we don't have to beat that into you.
Right, and his relative strength is insane.
Yeah. So once we get the relative strength where we need it, we don't have to continue to hammer it over.
Right.
And over. Like you said, the kid that can jump, all those people like Lasky, the girl plays softball, and the kid that plays college ball and still jumps. They can go do hurdle jumps one day. They can do like the reactive box jumps where you jump on box and jump up.
Yep.
They can do more things to develop different characteristics that they don't have. But like if they were to come in and do that reactive box jump, then if they were to come in and do hurdle jumps one time, then if they were to come in there and do broad jump, then if they were to come in there and do dumbbell jump, back to reactive jumps again. What I'm saying is if they vary all that stuff all the time, where do you think their absolute vertical's going? Nowhere.
Yeah.
Because it's too much variation. They don't have that one thing trained into them. If I can jump, if you come in there and you jump, what are you jumping with 30s? What do you jump with 40s?
I think 40s.
29, 30?
Yeah. I want to say I hit a 30, but that definitely 29.
And so once you're there, then you can vary your training all the time. You know, you don't. But I think some jumping is better than no jumping because like you didn't jump a whole lot this past month, but your 40 went where you wanted to be, right?
Right.
And it's like Kelvin's. People quit dumbbell jumping all the time. Is that fun? Is it?
No, especially when you reach, yes, you dumbbell jump to get faster, but everyone starts dumbbell jumping to jump higher. So once you reach your 40 vertical, that's your thing. It's like, why
Why keep going?
Exactly.
But you've not been there long enough now to. You've got your 40, but now we don't have time to experiment with. A lot of times when I get you guys to a certain place, we don't have time now to vary it up.
Right.
to where like, hey, look, let's see if hurdle jumps maintains your or increases your 40-yard dash.
Yeah, there's so much that you could test and variations.
And so like I only have you guys for a certain amount of time, then all of a sudden you're gone.
Yep.
So there's no continued training effect that I get to experiment with because I only got you a certain number of time. But the big thing is, a lot of people go somewhere and train, like if you go like wherever Isaiah Simmons or some famous like John Ross or wherever, they were already running that 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 40, right?
Right.
Just so like if someone came to me around a 4.4 40, I didn't really train them. They trained at the gym, but I didn't train them to get that.
Exactly.
And I think the big thing about the gym is I have the knowledge that has taken people from a 5.6 to a 4.7.
Right.
You know, I
5.1 to a 4.57.
Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, the kid that ran a 4.5 was at a 5 flat 40.
It's concrete. That's about as concrete as it gets, and I think people don't realize that's in season. That's while he's doing other weight trainings with his, baseball programs. That's with all of that. So you're now taking him where he's used to the training he's doing, has him at a 5, and now you're adding your training and taking him all the way to a 4.
Yeah, and if it was such as simple as, hey, like, and sometimes like with you at school, y'all do a more bodybuilding, more fitness, more high-paced exercise.
Right, because there's so many kids, you can't take that long. You only have so much time. There's so many variables that go into it, and you're getting ready for football games and stuff like that.
And sometimes by y'all doing that, it allows me just to come in. Hey, look, we can come in, jump, squat, and y'all can leave because you're getting everything else at school.
Exactly.
What you're getting at the gym is what you don't get at school, and sometimes what you get at school is what you don't get at the gym.
Right.
And so they can complement each
It goes
other.
hand in hand. It doesn't have to be overworking your body or things like that. You can come in and say you didn't hit RDLs at school. You didn't hit these hamstring things. Your time got cut short.
Yeah, it gives you the opportunity to go get extra stuff done. You
Right.
work on the characteristic that you weren't able to get.
And then when it comes to the season, you're stronger now than you were before because you have both things. You got to complement.
Yeah, and so for the kids that don't have the luxury of going to school, at the gym they're still getting faster and jumping higher without having any outside sources. Sometimes the outside sources actually make it easier on the athlete because they don't have to do as much all the time.
Right.
The frequency is the biggest thing that changes them. And so, and with the frequency, that's the thing about the push-pull. If you're squatting or benching once a week, I went to a powerlifting competition one time, and the little girl Alex, Katie, even Johnny, me, Cody Collin, Colton, 3 kids, Landon, still all these people, all my people still have a state record in bench.
Right.
Cameron even has a state record in bench. There's kids that even Thomas is competing against Kyle's old records. A lot of those Georgia State records we have for bench, and we go to competition, and somebody says, "What do y'all do for bench?"
Bench 3 times a week.
And I said, "What do y'all do?" And I said, "Shit." I was just thinking, how we bench.
Right.
And so I was like, instead of me telling them what I do, I asked them what do they do. They may bench once, sometimes twice a week, and then do a shoulder press.
Yeah. Which you can just go ahead and now we've added some more things and like variations of trainings, and you'll go to bench and then you'll go to shoulder press after. There's no problem with hitting both.
Yeah, and so I think the thing that I've learned is like we bench more, and because years ago I read an article that said to bench a lot, you got to bench a lot.
Makes sense.
And so you got to bench, just like those people in the Greek team, they were squatting 6 times in 2 days.
Yeah.
And so some people like at school, sometimes in high school,
long term probably wasn't the best for them, but
they
got the job done.
They killed they won the 1996 Olympics.
Exactly.
And so I don't know how long of a period they did that for.
Yeah.
But that was just a glimpse or an excerpt of their training. But like something, hey, you don't need to go to explosive and kill yourself because you've already done this here.
Yeah.
You're young. And so a lot of the research and a lot of the training information is based off of older population, not young athletes that have these hormones flowing, that your tissue repair, your recovery ability just for being young is ultra high because you're still growing. That's like a kid, they're always growing. Their ability to repair and heal is a lot greater than like a grandmother or grandfather. If they fall, it's going to take them a lot longer to recover. Now you're getting hit and falling all the time in football.
Yep.
and you don't even know it. So imagine if I were to go hit someone in football now, my age. Imagine my strength, power, and ability, and I go hit someone. I'm gonna be
Not good.
I'll be hurting for days.
Right.
You know, to where y'all may be sore and stiff, but you're still able to
Function. Then.
Yeah, I mean, what about 2 days of football?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like you're going to go out there. You're going to get. You go out there Monday. You're going to skip Tuesday and go back Wednesday. Or you got to go Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Got to go Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to get ready for the week because football's game schemes and each thing changes per week after that.
Right.
So it's. I think people let a thought process get in their way a lot more versus them actually knowing what goes on at the gym. You know, with monitoring these numbers and stuff, you know what's going on.
Right. I've never met someone like any of the friends I've talked to that have come and tried it out, not like it or enjoy it. You know, even college athletes that get referred by people from Georgia State and kickers in different positions, they get referred, and the referral gets you there.
Yeah.
But then the workout keeps you, and they see how we're training, and they see the numbers, and they're starting to see the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And then it becomes addicting because they're seeing results, and they come back, and then.
Well, how do you explain how do you explain the difference between explosive? Well, I guess you've not really been any other places besides high school. I don't know how to tell the people out there that I'm not lying to them. I'm giving them.
Right.
You know, what about the people that, like that one kid that went to a speed place for a year and stayed the same? The reason that kid started coming, him and the other baseball player that I like to give a hard time to that comes in and talks shit the whole time, Willis.
Yeah.
They were both going doing the speed agility thing together, and Willis was coming to the gym. And so by him coming to the gym and the other kid doing, and a year later, Willis runs a 6.660, and the other kid still ran a 7.260.
By just going to the one place, Willis went to both.
Yeah, Willis went to both. And so that one kid, his dad stopped by Jim. What are you doing? How was? I mean, he didn't even call Willis Willis. He called him. I don't even know what name he was using for. And it's like, are we talking about the same kid?
Yeah.
And ended up being him. And the dad said, "This is the only thing that he's doing different." And his dad told me this is where he went. And so that one kid that ran a 7.2 after a year of speed training, he ran from a 7.2, stayed at a 7.2 after a year. He quit doing the speed training altogether and just did the gym. Then he ran a 6.6 the next year. So went from a 7.2 to a 6.660, ended up getting a scholarship to play baseball.
Right.
And so no matter what they paid me, even if I was more expensive, it still returned his money.
Right.
Whereas other place, you don't get any type of return on investment.
Yep. Just wasting money.
And so it's frustrating because I'm saying the same thing that someone else says, except for I'm showing results. And sometimes I told Louis Simmons, I said, people don't care about these numbers. Like I could show some of these parents like at the gym the numbers, and they're like, what can you do for what can you do for my kid? I don't understand why they don't visualize or understand.
Right.
Do you? What about, I think the biggest compliment that you gave me, or that someone could actually give yourself, is when you went to Navy, a couple weeks ago?
Yep. I went to go visit for the first time because of COVID, and finally got up there to see the campus in Maryland.
What did, and you saw some of the other defensive ends come in.
Right. And I think, most kids, when they say, like, you're getting recruited, you're supposed to add an inch or two to your height. You're supposed to add a couple pounds because that's how you get recruited. But, when I say 6'4", 235, I'm 6'4", 235.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the kids that they recruited, they may say 6'4", 6'3", this and that. But
yeah, they fudge on the numbers, yeah.
So when they saw me, they're like, we like what we see. We got what we bargained for because you said you were and you are.
Yeah, and
compared to the other kids that said they were and they aren't,
And so when you got there, you were much bigger than the other defensive ends, right?
Yep, outside linebackers, and you can just tell.
What did the coaches say? That they said you could tell the other kids were going to you went to a special gym.
Right.
What did they say?
Yeah. They see my 40 and stuff like that, so they know kind of what explosive is about. And you can tell, there's a difference. Like I told you, a lot of kids that are coming in with me, they're going to Planet Fitness and One Life and all these other places and commercial gyms, and they may be getting bigger, but even some of the kids are like, they go from high school in such a trained regimen, and they're like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Like I'm going and wasting an hour because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Whereas
at explosive, you get.
I'm telling you how many sets and reps, and sometimes you don't want the sets and reps I give you.
Right. Exactly.
And so if you had the choice to go do what you wanted to,
it would be hard to hold yourself accountable. And, everyone can say, oh, well, I'm different and this and that. But when you go to a gym that's not holding you accountable and you're on your own pace and looking up, Googling different exercises and stuff and regiments, you can follow them, but you may not get stronger.
And that's what I used to do years ago. I used to think it was the exercise. So I was always looking for a magic pill.
Right.
I was always trying to look for the next coolest exercise. What's going to be cool to do at the gym? Hey, this is hard. I was looking for the cool things, but I realized it's not the cool things. It's the stuff that you don't want to do over and over again that's going to yield the result.
Right.
Because it's not the cool things that matter. Because what's the point in doing something hard if it don't yield a result?
Not worth it.
The only reason you come in and squat, the weights and the speeds and the steps, and you squat stuff that you don't really want to be squatting.
Nope. And nobody wants to come in and jump for 20 minutes with weights, and that stuff's not fun. What's fun is seeing the results. And
at test month, at test week, it's
exactly.
every month.
It's worth it. It pays off.
Yeah, because you realize you got the end of the month coming up, and if you want to see results, you know what you got to do.
Right.
But I think a lot of kids are not testing themselves at the end of each month, so they're not holding themselves accountable for being tested, so they're not really understanding what does or what does not work.
Right, and along with that, it's like at explosive, you can't take a day off because if you do, it will directly translate to your testing month. But it's like other places you're not testing, so if you slack a little bit, doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it's very easy to slack through an agility drill.
Right.
If you got that weight on your back, you have to stand up.
Yep. You got to get that number that you're pushing for on the tendo. You have to get the reps. You have to get this. If you don't.
And you need that 5 to 6 minutes between each set.
Yep.
If you shorten yourself on that, you shorten yourself on your numbers.
Right.
But that's so hard because I know at schools and sometimes people are just trying to get in and get out, and y'all are there for a good amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky at our high school, 7A, we got block schedule, an hour and a half to work out, but it's split up, kind of like 40 minutes in the weight room and 40 minutes on the field. But 40 minutes is usually what most high schools get in their whole period.
Yeah, so y'all are lucky to have that length of time there to where y'all are in a different school system. Some of the other kids are
right, whereas some are on like 7 periods a day, so they got to go get changed out, and they may only have 30 minutes to work out. You can't get everything you need done in 30 minutes. You can't get results like that.
You can't jump in 30 minutes sometimes.
Right. It's not going to work.
What else would you like to cover? Like, you always you really become inquisitive this past year about freaking hammering me with questions. But I guess we'll get on a podcast. It's a lot harder.
Right.
It's kind of hard to think on a limb. But you said the hamstring at the knee and the hamstring at the hip.
Yeah, like I never thought about it that way. Even though when I point to my hamstring, it's higher that it's hurt. I could have been wasting, because when I got out of wrestling, I was like, all right. The main goal before I head off to college was not to have the injury, because nobody wants to go into college hurt, and nobody wants to.
Were you scared to come back to the gym?
A little bit, just because I was like, I'm not sure.
Jared's gonna make me do this.
Not only that, but it's like I can't do what I want to do, and I know seeing other people do it. Like I want to compete with them. I see them squatting. Like it was even hard the first couple of weeks to see guys squatting, and I'm over here. I got to do my specific hamstring at the hip exercises to get better, to then go compete with them in jumps. But it was hard for a while seeing other high school kids that are in surrounding high schools come in and jump and get these numbers when it's like, I need to be competing with them.
But we got the hamstring healed.
We did, and then I got numbers that I didn't even think that I would get.
Yeah. Did you, you didn't have a 40-inch vertical before this past semester, did you?
Nope. And then my expectation, like I said, going in was kind of to recover it, feel it out, do what I need to do not to be hurt in college. And then I come in and run faster. You told me with my hamstrings hurt and everything, because I played football the whole season on them, wrestled on them, just nagging for, you're talking 6 to 8 months, longer, 8 months, 7 months. And after that, if you had told me, hey, you're going to, 2 months from now, you're going to run faster than you've ever ran before.
And jump higher than you've ever jumped.
Because I couldn't even run without pain when I first started. And then running faster, jumping higher.
What do you think sparked all the questions? This past semester, you really started trying to learn what I've been trying to preach the whole time. Some kid the other day was at the gym. They said they started listening to the podcast, and they started doing stuff differently at the gym. I said, I've been trying to tell you this for 2 years, and all of a sudden, why the hell is listening to a podcast? Why does that change you more than actually having access to me at the gym?
Yeah, that's hard.
You think it's just because I'm there, everybody takes it for granted that?
Yeah, kind of. They do that, and then maybe, there maybe some people aren't. They get curious when they're not working out. Like they kind of think back to their workout time. Why did I do this? Why did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Other than just having questions at the gym. But I think what sparked all my questions was like, now when I used to have an injury, I was just like, oh, it just happens. Injuries happen. But now whenever I get injured, or if I get injured, it happened for a reason. So it's like assess that reason so it doesn't happen again. If you don't ever fix the problem and it continues to happen, you're not going to be any type of an athlete.
Did it surprise you that I knew how to rehab stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
because
I like the PT place I go to, but even you were telling me stuff that, like you said, they have protocols and they can't just throw weight on you. They don't have the load there. Maybe you go in PT places, you may see highest dumbbell has got 30 pounds.
Yeah,
so it's a lot different when you're talking to someone who can,
I don't have you're there at the gym, you're paying because you trust me, but then sometimes the doctors recommend physical therapy because you have to go for that reason.
Right.
And I know they're all so different. I just don't know. I know what I know, and there's a lot of stuff that I can do that I understand. Just like we was talking earlier, like as far as remodeling homes and like at this table that I'm trying to do, I know how to do a lot of stuff. And I don't know how I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the gym, and I've studied that my entire life. As far as I can remember, that's all I've ever done. And I didn't go to school to learn exercise science. I went to school to play football.
Right. But you have a degree that's a CC.
I got an exercise science degree. And I have a CSCS certification.
Which is rare to have that. I think I read something there was not a lot of people in Georgia with one.
Yeah. And so but I went to school to play football.
Right.
And I tell people, don't go to school because you think you want to be this or you want to be that. Go to school. Especially for sport, don't choose your sport based off don't choose a school based off what you want to do at school sometimes.
Yeah.
I went to Memphis and I found exercise science by mistake because I didn't care about school. And for y'all, it's a lot different now because you got to grade and stuff when it's high priority back then as it is now.
Right.
So I went to Memphis and hell, I had to bench. And so I went to our complex, it was closed. I went to the campus weight room facility, closed. And I said, damn, because back in the day, if I had to bench, I was like a angry bear. If I didn't get my workout in, I was gonna be aggravated.
Right.
And I'd even threaten my roommates to come spot me sometime. You're gonna go spot. And so I was walking around campus one day, I had to go work out. And I saw this guy that I played football with. I eventually worked my way to where the girls' basketball facility was. And it was just an old gym to where the girls played volleyball and the girls played basketball. And I was just walking around and went to the basement of that gym, to that area, and this kid walked out of his room and I saw a squat rack in there. I said, hey, I gotta go bench. He said, you can't go in there. I said, what? He said, no, but you can't go in there, it's a lab. I said, what do you mean it's a lab? I said, that's a squat rack, I think I gotta go bench. And he said, it's exercise science. What the hell is that? And then he started explaining to me what that was. So football kind of led me, like you said, stuff happens for a reason, and led me to exercise science. And I've studied it my whole life, and I didn't even know that even existed because I didn't pay attention to school stuff.
Now the people in the gym that come, they benefit because I don't think I've asked you a question that either you didn't have an answer for me right there, and rare times, say you didn't have the answer, you pull out a book and you point me to the answer, and because sometimes I didn't like to listen to you, so if I read it, I would be.
It's easy. I think sometimes it's easier to sink in if you read it. Because I was telling some kid the other day, I was telling Ross something. And he sent me, Jared, you've been telling me this for 3 months.
Yeah, it's like if you find it on your own, then you wouldn't believe it.
I said, Ross, I'm like a father around here. I'm the gym father. I said, your dad can tell you all day long what's right, what's wrong, but someone else will tell you exactly what your dad's been telling you for time. And all of a sudden you get it. And,
exactly.
And so I said, Ross, just like your father, I tell you this, and this, and you hear someone else say it. Then you come back, Judge, you've been telling me this 3 months, but it just came out. Like someone sent me something the other day. Westside had put a post out for something with short rest breaks between certain things, and the kid sent me a message. He said, Jared, you've already told us this. And I said, why do y'all have to listen to someone else when I'm trying my damnedest? I'm always, I tell you that, I'm always there to help people.
Right.
I'm not there to ridicule. I do make fun of people, but.
And you've been doing it for some time now. So when kids come in, say their numbers show you something, you know how to react and how to write their numbers next time.
Yeah.
Whereas some other people may not have that. You know, there's no questions that kids in the gym, if they want a specific goal, like even as small as, hey Jared, how do I grow my biceps? Well, you're gonna tell them across the shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, you got different answers where
It's just not a
people
general.
exactly, yeah, it's not a general answer. You're explaining why this, different muscles, this and that. So
Yeah,
you're educating, you're not telling.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell them why instead of them having to go there.
Right, because then when they understand it, now they can, you know, explain
hopefully,
to people.
hopefully reiterate it to
Yeah.
people. But
And
sometimes I don't
it
think
allows
they
them to understand it better.
And that's all I want to do is just like you trying to tell you like what, because when we started with this hamstring issue, you're like, well, and I started explaining, well, there's a hamstring crosses this joint, crosses this joint.
Right.
And if I can explain it to you to make it make more sense than about load and tension and things like that, it helps.
And
My job's to help people.
Right.
And try to do to y'all as I wanted someone to have done to me when I was that age.
I mean, I feel like as far as knowledge goes, I mean, I'm probably in the 1%, but knowing more than a lot of high school seniors going into their freshman year of college athletics now.
Yeah.
Like my weekends are going to be a lot different in the weight room than.
But how is it like you got a friend that you said you worked out with today and did a push pull or whatever?
Right.
How is it trying to explain the gym or trying to educate them? You know, like how do you feel like when you're trying to re-educate someone or?
Right. I mean, they get it, especially when you show them the results and explain why we got that. Like the jump, I had someone after I jumped, they sent me the video and they're like, "How did you go about doing this? What's your regimen? What's your stuff?" And you know, I explained it to him the best I could. But he's like, "Well, I don't have access to a jump mat." Well, that's a problem because you can't. How do you know when you're beating your numbers or not?
Yeah, you can't.
It defeats the whole purpose. It's like not having a tendon when you're squatting for speed. You can't say, "Oh, that felt faster."
You know what's funny is like this kid that used to come to gym. He used to come. His brother used to be a quarterback at school. And the kid came when he was in 7th, 8th grade, and he sent me a video of him squatting, and they actually squat a lot better than I thought. You know, y'all's coach does a good job of make sure to squat depth, but he's not hitting his speed. He said, my running's not gotten faster, and my jump's not gotten higher. What do you do for your jumps? And I sat there, he's not been to the gym in 2 years. Why did you not listen when you were at the gym? You know, and that goes, just because I understand, just because you lift weights does not mean you're going to be a great athlete. Maybe if you lift weights with some type of intention that manipulated the body system in a certain way, then you would be a better athlete.
Right.
I'm not making big, bulky people. You know, like all the extra biceps and arm work, you do that on your own. I don't program. The only thing I care about is you're stronger, you're faster, and you're jumping higher, you're more explosive.
In turn, you're a better athlete.
Yeah.
So.
It's not, my job is to physically prepare you to be able to run, jump, absorb, and give back forces.
Right.
My job's not to teach you football skill. When you're doing football, you're doing drills all the time. All right, so if I give you the physical ability to perform that drill better, it's then the sport coach's responsibility to make you more efficient at that drill.
Right.
Because you have the physical ability to be more efficient at it.
You got the horsepower.
Yeah, but then it's practicing the sharpening.
Practicing, training that skill.
It's kind of like the dumbbell jumps. It sharpens the rate of force development that we're already getting rate of force development from the box squatting. It just helps sharpen it.
Right.
So imagine like if I gave you the force like punching power, like when you block someone in football, you hit them with your arms.
Yep.
Your arms extend. What extends arms? Your triceps.
Triceps.
What raises the arm? The shoulder raises the arm. What the chest muscle brings the body function. So like when y'all are benching in school and stuff, they say you don't bench out here, you don't play out here.
Yeah.
You're extending your arm either close or wide, so you're still extending it. So it don't matter at school. I tell you, it's if you take someone and you bench them close grip, they're more, when you widen the grip out, they're more vulnerable, can hurt shoulder, pull, pec, and hurt. So when you're in football, does your arm ever get outside the body?
Yes.
So here's something you probably, wide can come close, close can't go wide. And so like if you that's what has, I bench like this.
Yep.
I've done this for so long.
Mobility's an issue up upper body.
Now I can't go wide.
Right.
But if I were to go wide, I can always go close. So wide can go close, close can't go wide. So if it's kind of like you have to understand that. So I'd rather have strength out here, so I'm more protected because I know if I can protect it here, I know I'm protected in here.
Right.
But that's so hard to explain to people because, hey, the only time you need to bench press is when you're trying to press someone off of you when you're on your back. No, if I'm standing like when I was long snapping at Memphis and I was set back to pass block to make sure that they didn't get to the punter. If I grabbed you, if I had punched you in my hands or your chest and I grabbed hold of you, your ass wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
Because I had the strength to hold stuff in front of me. It ain't always about getting stuff off your back, whatever. And when you bench, you have to lock out your arms. You know, so it does have application. It's just not, people want to say you don't need bench. Well, you know, the people who say you don't need bench is the people who don't know how to increase the bench. You know, the limiting factor for a lot of athletes is, can you actually make them stronger? And if you vary exercise too often, you're not getting the strength effects to increase strength.
Right.
So it's not about people that need variation don't know how to get stronger. So they want variation to make them feel better for putting in work, but if you actually test the work they're putting in, it may not show up. Anything else?
It's all from me.
I think Dylan's overwhelmed. How long have we been here? A little over 2 hours.
It's a long podcast.
And so I don't know. Hopefully we've covered a good amount of information, and
right. I'm sure there's a ton more.
There's so much more that we can't even get out there.
We could sit here for hours and hours and hours and still.
Yeah, I think Dylan thought it was going to last
45 minutes.
45.
Yeah.
So much for that. But it's just recording a conversation that we're having. That's hopefully we're trying to help people. You know, like I had someone email from Australia the other day, and just wanting to thank for the information that I put out.
Right.
I'm telling people today, and you are, is those numbers matter. Strength matters as it comes to getting faster and jumping higher.
Yep.
Because if you don't have the strength, you can't produce the horsepower.
Exactly. Your peak isn't as high.
Yeah, and so it's not always just about lifting weights, it's the methods behind the weights. You know, if that's the case, the people would get faster just by regular squatting.
Right.
But the thing I do all the time is I test, and I'm held accountable. A lot of people don't test because they know if they test, they'll be exposed.
Exactly. Which is horrible because I'd rather be exposed and then fix it than never exposed until the time is.
Yeah, I think when you came to me this past semester, I think you really grew up. I think you grew up a lot this semester because you started learning.
Well, and I think helping out the kids too, asking you questions of why are they doing this, why are they doing this, and then you giving me the answers, and then seeing it in place for different kids in different situations. Like, you know, as soon as you see a kid in their numbers and you give them something, now I could probably look at it and give them relatively around the same thing.
Yeah,
which has helped me grow and learn.
Yeah, and I think you've appreciated the knowledge, and you try to help your friends, but sometimes your friends will go down a rabbit hole. Like,
right.
I think you can only go so deep with so many questions. At our point, like, shit, what would Jared say?
Right.
You know, I think a lot of stuff got screwed up after the 70s. I think that's when Boyd Epley, which started the National Strength Conditioning Association, he was the first guy at Nebraska to use strength conditioning for the athletes. So Nebraska went on a rant, started winning national championship after national championship. And he was the first guy who pioneered lifting weights for football athletes. And so, but the bad thing about that was in the 70s, and a lot of the information coming in the 70s, who was popular in the 70s, do you know? What were you?
Arnold. I couldn't tell you.
Arnold.
Okay, yeah.
What was Arnold?
Bodybuilder.
Yeah. And so bodybuilding was very popular. So a lot of strength training stuff early on started from bodybuilding methods. So that's kind of got what put in books and more popularized through the U.S.
Yep.
Cardiovascular doctrine. Where were the explosive athletes at in the world? overseas, Russia.
Yep.
What were they doing all the time? They were cleaning in the Olympics.
Not bodybuilding.
No, they were doing explosive power stuff. And so what we did is we saw that they were explosive. And so we started thinking that we just basically took the surface. So they were doing power cleans as a sport, because over there it's their job. Over here it's a hobby.
Right, exactly.
And so it's like they're paid by the government. And so if I'm not doing my Olympic lifting job, it's like football up here in the U.S. as far as NFL. If you're not putting the work in to keep your job, someone else is right there behind you about to take your NFL spot.
Yep.
Or your college spot for that matter, or your high school spot. It's a job for them because that's how they get paid.
It's not a hobby.
Yeah, it's not a hobby. Over here it's a hobby. Lifting weights and all that stuff and recreational stuff's a hobby over there where they gotta get paid. So what we did is we saw what was on the surface and what they were doing, and they were explosive. You know why they were explosive? Because they could squat. They were strong. The lifts allowed them to display the strength that they had developed. Because if you can't deadlift 300, there's no way you're gonna power clean it.
Right.
You know, if you can't squat 300, you can't power clean it. You ever power clean more than you squatted?
Nope.
It don't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And so what happens is we saw that, but what they didn't see, well, like when kids are asking you questions about training information, is more about 3 questions deep. Where do you go? You kind of get lost.
Right.
And so what they didn't see is those Olympic lifters overseas, they were doing variations of different jumps. Jumping's more dynamic than Olympic lifting. The Olympic lifts just allowed them to display the strength that they had gained from other stuff. So like if you look at the Olympic, like y'all do RDLs and stuff at school?
Yep.
Did y'all do any good mornings?
We do some good mornings, not regularly, but
A lot of stuff, because remember I said you can't get strong doing power cleans.
right.
Power cleans is just a display of strength that's highly technical. And so good mornings, if you look at the angles here, when you do a good morning, you're trying to get in that first pull position. When you do an RDL, you're trying to get in that second pull position. So what they're doing is they're using the good mornings and RDLs to strengthen those body angles so that when they have to use the movement, they're actually strong with those exercises. Because as you're coming up from RDL, it's hips, it's your hamstrings.
Right.
Your hamstrings and your glutes extend the body. The quads help extend the knee. And so if you have knee and hip extension at the same time, they're using the good mornings, the RDLs to strengthen the hamstrings and the backside, while they're squatting, strengthening the front side. So what they're doing is now they're taking the strength movements in the front, strength movements in the back, and applying it to a lift. And their lifts are so light as far as how much technical load they're using. I think 75 to 85% on the actual lifts themselves. Only doing 2 reps with. It's not very heavy or hard. It just helps them sharpen the technique. And so by us just seeing that they were doing power cleans or displaying their strength, we brought power cleans over and started using that because we thought it made us explosive. They
Right.
don't make us explosive, it's just display of strength.
It's a byproduct.
Yeah, so it's strength's the limiting factor.
Yep.
So the most important thing to do is get stronger. Well, if you can get stronger now that we know the different methods behind manipulating the nervous system, if you can get stronger and work on your rate of failure skill at the same time, then you go to power cleans or jumps or whatever to sharpen your skill, you're gonna be so much better at it.
Right.
And so, and sometimes you don't have to do something to get better at it. Just like we don't run a whole lot, but we get better at 40.
Exactly.
So, well, Dylan, I know you're about burnt out on the podcast, but I appreciate you coming over and doing. I actually really appreciate the time that you spend at the gym. I don't get annoyed with the questions. I appreciate the questions.
Right. I'm glad because I ask a lot of them and they've helped me, and now I'm going to take that into
Yeah,
what
hopefully
I
you
do
can help
the next phase. And
Yeah, someone else, and I'll always be here for you.
Right.
I appreciate your time at the gym because I like the questions because I want to help. I want to help you understand why. And so, where can people find you? Can we follow you on social media?
Twitter at Dylan Spelios, Instagram at Dylan with 2 N's .Spelios. and then that's pretty much
All
it.
right, Spelios, how you spell?
Spelios, and then Dylan's Dylan.
Okay, and y'all can find me on Instagram at Explosive Mechanics. Just joined TikTok at Explosive Mechanics. Jump book hopefully coming out soon. I know this has been a long day.
Looking forward to that jump book.
Yeah, the whole thing about that book is the first chapter is going to be about how I came out with the name of the gym, branding and stuff like that.
Which I think will surprise a lot of people, because it surprised me when you told me the story on how. I thought it was just
a logo.
Explosive Mechanics on top of a bar, but it's more than that.
Yeah, because mechanics is a branch of mathematics that deals with bodies, motions, and tendencies to motion, and it's a routine operation of a thing. We are a thing. We're a human.
Right.
And so you apply numbers to the human, working on the mechanics of different things, so squatting, jumping, running, and the only way to have explosive mechanics is to have strength.
Right.
That's why the barbell's in the front explosive. So, because without strength, there's no explosive mechanics.
Nope.
So, yep. So Twitter at Explosive MEC. Email me if you have questions. Info at Explosive Mechanics. Reach out to Dylan, give him a shout out. So Dylan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening.